Paul Mortimer. This is Premier League Live. I can tell you we are underway at the King Power. Manchester United playing from right to left in this first period in their red shirts, white shorts. Leicester all in blue, playing from left to right. I'll give you the two lineups in just a moment. Leicester have lost 12 of their last 13 Premier League games. They are second bottom in the Premier League. Manchester United 15th, but they might just have saved their season with Thursday's Europa League win against Real Sociedad. Long throw from Diogo Dalot, and the effort is instinctive from Højlund, left-footed, but it goes wide of the target, and a first chance for me to bring in Paul Mortimer. And for Manchester United, a strange one. We know they're not going down. We know they're not going to qualify for Europe through the league. But you look at their team, 8 in heaven, 18 making his full Premier League debut.
Yeah.
That's what Ruben Amorim has to do, build this team towards next season.
I think that's a little bit of what he's doing. Is now I'm getting ready for next season, and some of the players now are playing for their futures. There's no disputing that. What you know from him is he came in, we want to play this way. I don't think he believes a lot of these players can do that.
Yeah.
So
he's trying to find out, are you sure
exactly.
you can't do it?
If it's possible, there's going to be a humongous fire sale at Man United at the end of the season, I think, with a lot of change.
Here come Leicester. Bit of room to manoeuvre in midfield as they work it out to James Justin on the right-hand side, wearing number 2. Curls it into the penalty area, headed away by the teenager, 8 in heaven, signed from Arsenal, making his full Premier League debut. He did start the game on Thursday as Manchester United beat Real Sociedad 4-1 in the Europa League to reach the quarter-finals. Came from behind in that game. Bruno Fernandes scored a hat-trick. United will now face the French club Lyon in the last 8. So the Leicester team is Mats Hermansen in goal, Luke Thomas, Conor Cody and Wout Faes, the back 3. Victor Christiansen, Boubakary Soumaré, Wilfred Ndidi and James Justin in midfield. It's Bilal El Khanous and Patson Daka supporting Jamie Vardy in attack. United with Andre Onana at the back, in the goal rather. Matthijs de Ligt, Victor Lindelöf and Aiden Heaven at the back. Lusail Mazraoui, Bruno Fernandes, Manuel Ugarte and Diogo Dalot across the middle. It's Alejandro Garnacho and Christian Eriksen supporting Rasmus Højlund in attack. Matthijs de Ligt, who gave away an early penalty in that game against Real Sociedad in midweek, strokes the ball back to his goalkeeper, Andre Onana. 2 former Ajax players linking up there, going into this weekend. Statistician friends at Opta gave Leicester a 2% chance of avoiding relegation. And with that Wolves win at Southampton earlier in the weekend, you've got to feel that that's declined even further. Leicester currently 9 points from safety. But here's Ndidi into the area, and it's Vardy with the first shot on goal in the game. He went for it with the outside of his right boot, and it's beaten around the near post by Onana. It's a corner.
Well, just a little bit of untidy play, really. The ball keeps changing hands, pops at Ndidi's feet. Lindelhoff is holding everyone on. He's 5 yards behind his teammates, which allows Vardy in, and Vardy does what Vardy does. He gets a really good quick strike on the ball, good save from the goalkeeper, but that was out of absolutely nowhere.
It's played short to El Khanous, the 20-year-old former Genk player. Gives the ball away, and United should be able to clear now. United 15th, 9 wins out of 28, just 34 points. Traditionally, you need 40. That's the magic number that we always talk about to avoid relegation. But United aren't going to go down, but it's been a horrible season for them. You look at their league form in 2025, 3 wins, 3 draws, 3 defeats. That just gives you an idea of how inconsistent they've been. Throw to Leicester down to the corner flag on the far side, the left. If it's going to happen for Leicester, it's got to happen soon. 10 games left for them, and they are 9 points adrift of safety. They've lost their last 5 Premier League games without scoring. They've never lost 6 games in a row without a goal. They have got a throw here on the left-hand side. It's hurled in by Thomas, the header away from Lindelöf. Loose touch by Justin, which sends Soumaré back towards halfway, and he rolls it back to his goalkeeper, Hermansen. It's the left-hand side for his fellow Dane Christiansen. Loose touch by him And now United on the move with Garnacho. On the far side, the right, Alejandro Garnacho, 2 for company, so he goes back to Mazraoui, infield to the captain Bruno Fernandes. Love him or hate him, you can't deny his numbers, you can't deny his effectiveness. He's got 17 goals for club and country this season. Here's Ugarte trying to burst into the Leicester penalty area, jabs it out to Dalot on the left-hand side. Leicester have a player down, but United are carrying on. It's Eriksson with the cross. It was flicked on by Højlund, and the ball bounces behind for a goal kick, and Leicester had a player down for quite some time there.
Not the Man United player's business. That's for the ref to stop that. And the true fact of the matter is, in this day and age, you never know whether anyone's injured or not.
Yeah.
You really do not know, because they tend to over-egg the pain, let's say.
You're suggesting players these days are a bit dramatic.
Well, they're not as resilient as back in the day. Let's put it
Yes,
that way.
I think that's
they
fair
fall
to
over the blade of grass and roll about. And do you know what? On a serious note, it's really difficult for the referee to make sense of sometimes. When players do roll about, and then the next minute you get they're up and sprinting like they're Lazarus from the dead. You know,
completely agree with you. I mean,
right.
I've always felt that whole thing of people getting on players' back to put the ball out. Let the ref deal with that. Just get on with it.
Ref's job.
Absolutely.
You know what we're told as kids from a very early age? Play to the whistle. That's what you do. If the ref blows the whistle and says stop, we stop. Until then, let's carry on.
That's exactly it. Free kick's been given away by Aidan Heaven. They've got high hopes for him, brought in from Arsenal, who wasn't really getting game time. But
it's interesting. Arsenal don't normally let players go, do they? Who step into another first team at this age.
And he's been getting into squads as well. He wasn't getting games, but he would look at it and think, well, how am I going to get past Gabriel and Saliba?
Yeah, fair play.
Whereas at Manchester United, he had a big opportunity for him. Here's Thomas with the free kick for Leicester. Long into the penalty area, only half cleared, and Heaven will bang that away left-footed up towards halfway. 7 on the watch here on Premier League Live. Leicester 0, Manchester United 0. Not a big game for United in the sense that their league form isn't going to improve much, but Ruben Amorim trying to build momentum. That Europa League campaign now is the be-all and end-all for them. An opportunity not only to win a trophy, but to qualify for next season's Champions League. It's banged long for Højlund. And Højlund beaten to the ball by Connor Cody. Højlund down, suggesting that he was caught there. Connor Cody rather dismissively walks away. Not really interested in the aftermath of the challenge.
It's a heck of a tackle, by the way. It's a heck of a
Connor
tackle.
Cody challenge is what it is.
He got the ball, he got the man, he got the programmed seller, and anyone else walking by. I think he got a lot of them.
Nearly got us as well.
Yeah, cleaned them out.
Garnacho just trying to lay that off to Mazraoui. It's not been an easy time for Højlund. 7 goals in all competitions, but the last of those was in December. Ball is played towards him here in the penalty area, headed away by Fas, and then the shot from Ugarte is wayward and over the top, but Manchester United at least looking threatening when they get forward.
Yeah, I mean, I look at Højlund and I feel sorry for him because they don't play to his strengths.
No.
He
runs all the time, doesn't he? Always making those runs in behind.
Well, for me, what you do is you play forward early.
Yeah.
He's a back to front. You play forward early. You keep him in the game. But they don't, and he's very rarely. You watch him, he looks isolated. Whenever he gets the ball, there's 2 or 3 players around him. So what it highlights is all the things he's not very good at. So consequently, people think, oh, he's not all that.
Yeah. Whereas if you watched him at Atalanta when he was in Italy, Gasperini knew exactly how to play.
Although he's not prolific.
No, that's true.
That was a surprise for me, Kevin, that they spent 72 million on him when, if you're going to spend 70 million on a centre forward, he got to get you 25 goals a season. He really does.
That's true.
That's the only surprise for me, because I looked at him and I thought, at Atalanta they knew how to use him correctly, and Man United are scratching about for form.
Yeah.
To be truthfully honest, so they don't know at the moment which ends up, and it's difficult. It's really difficult.
It has been a bit like buying a lot of expensive sports cars when you haven't passed your test.
Do you know what I think it is? I think it's buying different parts of different sports cars.
Yeah.
And not
just
really
leaving them in the garage.
That's what I'm telling you.
All over the floor.
And not really knowing how to put them together. That's what it looks like. They just look broken all the time, and Leicester will go into this thinking, if we get it right, we'll have a chance. Man United, that never normally happens. They had a consistency, but that's gone completely.
There's poor old Ruben Amorim with a wrench in his hand, wondering what to do. Here's Heaven, goes back to his goalkeeper, Andre Onana. Amorim did say in the last few games we've had a better idea of what we want to do. We understand the plan better. We're not losing our minds every time we concede a goal. And we are giving ourselves a better chance of staying in games. Here is Eriksson, motoring forward down the inside left channel. He finds Dalot on the left edge of the penalty area. His cross is blocked. The ball spins to Eriksson. And now Ugarte goes for goal. And he blazes it over the top. Maybe he's on a goal bonus tonight, Manuel Ugarte. He's had a couple of long-range efforts. He's only scored once in the Premier League this season.
See, even there, Eriksson, who has clarity in his plays, running with the ball, not a clue what to do with it.
Yeah.
Then he plays it wide too late because the defender's over there blocking it, and that's not normally him. He can pick a pass.
Well, there's a guy that's played over 300 times in the Premier League. He's won over 140 caps for Denmark.
He's a proper footballer, but again, when a team is scratching about for a system, a way of playing, a mindset, even the better players look average. And I think he's looked average there, and this is someone who can play.
Yeah.
You know?
Leicester did make themselves awkward to play against Chelsea last week at Stamford Bridge, but they only generated an expected goals figure of 0.1. They had 4 touches in the Chelsea box. It was a 1-0 battering in some ways.
I think they're at the stage now where they may as well lose games trying to win them.
Yeah.
There's no point in sitting back and being cagey, because how's that worked out for you?
Well, they've lost their last 6 home games without scoring. It's the worst ever run. The last goal here was on the 8th of December. The last win here, 5 days before that, against West Ham. They're pretty terrifying statistics.
Do you know what, Kev? I was looking at that as I was doing my prep, and I was like, I had to have a look at it again.
Yeah, just to check.
They've lost last 5 games and not scored. Wow.
Here's Bruno Fernandes for Manchester United. Forward to Højlund, who spreads the play to the right-hand side, and Garnacho, the Argentinian. He'll go on the outside onto his right foot and then spins back in field. He's got Luke Thomas tracking his every move, so he goes back to his captain, Bruno Fernandes. Right-footed ball into the area. Fast with the header straight to Dalot, and Dalot's cross cleared by Connor Cody. Well, Connor Cody fist bumps fast there, but actually fast nearly put his team into a little bit of trouble.
Well, here's the problem when you've got a right footer playing on the left, because that should just be a side footer back to Højlund to put in the net, really and truly. This inverted winger thing is an irritant for me.
Yeah.
It really is.
Because you're either always looking to cut inside, or when those chances come, they're not taken naturally. And Dalot, by nature, I think he's a very industrious defender.
I like him.
Going forward, not great.
Well, it's interesting that he plays wing back on the right and on the left. I think Mazraoui I like on the right hand side. I think he's half decent. Dalot does a good job. Is it good enough at this level? Probably not.
Here is Garnacho spinning away from Thomas out to Houssem Mazraoui, who's always been known as a very attack-minded wing-back, but he has played quite well as a wide centre-back at times, which surprised me, I must admit.
He's been one of their consistent players, I have to say. For what he gives you, you can't look at him and say he's had a poor game very, very often.
Spell of Bayern seemed to teach him a lot about the defensive side of the game. He was very much a cavalier player when he was at Ajax. He was part of that team. They got to the semi-finals of the Champions League.
That was a proper side, by the way.
Yeah,
imagine if that side had won or got to the final, where they'd be. You know, because that was a really good side. Young as well.
And their coach, of course, was Erik ten Hag. I wonder what happened to him. Here
It's interesting, isn't it?
Fernandes, 10 yards inside the Leicester half. Out it goes to Dalot on the left. Dalot's first-time cross is ballooned to the far side. Mazraoui will collect it. First-time layoff. Looking for Bruno Fernandes, and in goes Luke Thomas with the challenge.
What I will say for Dalot, as a left foot player, at least he's crossing it with his left foot. At least he is, because normally, like you said, the desire is to cut inside all the time. You've got to go wide, because what that does is that makes the Leicester back four defend properly. They have to now defend properly, like a winger's crossing the ball in. Whereas you cut inside, you cut it into their strength, really.
Nearly quarter of an hour gone at the King Power. 0-0 between Leicester and Manchester United. Leicester with 17 points in total. They've only had a worse tally after 28 games of a league season once in their entire history. They've lost 12 of the last 13 in the Premier League. Ruud van Nistelrooy has been in charge for 15 games in the league. His points total is 7. Steve Cooper was dismissed earlier in the campaign, and one wonders if they'd stuck with him, would they be in a better position? I would argue they would.
I think most definitely, because, you know, he's an experienced manager, knows how to get people up and keep them up. I think he would have got it right, but the problem you have sometimes is managers earn their corner not when everything's going well. Yeah. It's when it's not going well, but the current trend is you don't give managers long enough to get it right. Once it's gone wrong, they're out.
I think the Leicester fans never took to him as well, as he was a former Forest manager, of course, had got Forest back into the Premier League after such a long time away. Forest fans would say maybe Agent Cooper did his job. Here is Dallow in the left-back zone, back to heaven. That was a nice little shimmy away from Patson Daka. Daka just charges him over, and that's going to be a free kick to Manchester United in their left-back zone. Of course, it's a reunion of sorts for Ruud van Nistelrooy. He made 150 Premier League appearances for Manchester United, and he scored 95 goals. And of course, he was the Manchester United interim coach earlier in the season, and he beat Leicester not once but twice in that role. And so the story goes, the Leicester owner was so entranced by those performances, he thought, well, that guy's good, we should hire him. It's fair to say it hasn't really worked out so far. 17th minute, Leicester 0, Manchester United 0. Here's Conor Coady, former Wolves player. Of course, it's Wolves who Leicester are trying to chase down at the moment. Long ball by Coady, looking to release Jamie Vardy, and he might get there. Lindelof got himself into an almighty mess there, and Andre Onana came out beyond his penalty area and managed to clear the ball, and now the ball spins back into the gloves of the Cameroonian. But Lindelof got himself into an almighty mess there.
Well, the problem there is he's let it bounce, and the minute he lets it bounce, and he's completely mistimed it because he's worried about Vardy. Two things happen there. Goalkeeper, if the goalkeeper stays in his goal, that's far easier, because now Lindelof is thinking, I've got to get the touch right, because the goalkeeper's literally standing on my toes. If he stays back another 10 yards, let Lindelof
deal with it.
Let him deal with it, yeah.
Earlier today, huge historic win for Newcastle. They've won the League Cup, they've beaten Liverpool 2-1 at Wembley in that final, so congratulations to them. Their first major trophy of any sort since the 60s, first domestic trophy since the 1950s, so terrific effort from Eddie Howe and his men. In this one, we're in the 18th minute, it's Leicester 0, Manchester United 0, a game Leicester have to win. Long throw from Dallow towards the near post, James Justin out jumps Matthijs de Ligt, and it's going to be a corner to Manchester United from the near side, the left, a team that's won just 9 of its 28 Premier League games, but they have put together a 3-match unbeaten run in the league. Drew at Everton, beat Ipswich 3-2, and then held Arsenal to a 1-1 draw last weekend at Old Trafford. 0-0 at the King Power, and United's first corner of the night. Højlund and de Ligt at the far post, and that's where the ball goes, but it's headed away by Coady. Comes to Garnacho, right foot shot, and it took a bounce and went into the midriff with Hermansen. We've got a nice early view of that, one of the best shot stoppers in the Premier League, and he wasn't going to be beaten by that. No,
I think he's doing very well to score from there with that quality of keeper and goal. I mean, he's always busy, he's always got a lot of saves to make, and that was quite a straightforward one. I thought he was going to just clip it back into the box, maybe, and see what happens from there, but good save.
Goals have dried up for Alejandro Garnacho. He's got 8 in all competitions, but none since November. It's very much slowed down, of course. When Ruben Amorim first got to the club, he dropped Garnacho, gave him a bit of a dig in the ribs, and said that his level needed to improve, both in training and in matches. And that was the case with Marcus Rashford, and whereas Rashford never got back in, Garnacho did.
Yeah, I mean, I look at people like Garnacho, and at his best, he looks a proper player. But he does that because he plays risk football.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the football you see at the moment, especially some of it today, is risk-free. No one is really experimenting. No one's really, because in order to go and be creative, you have to take a risk with the ball. You have to, in the attacking areas, you have to put the ball at risk to be lost. But if you watch this at the moment, it's all risk-free. No one wants to give the ball away. No one wants to make a mistake. And therefore, you have a sanitised version of the game where everything is in front of the opposition. and it's going to be a mistake or a genuine bit of quality that's going to create something, which is a shame, really.
And Garnacho is a player who tries things, isn't he? Pep Guardiola's worst nightmare, maybe, but for the right coach, for the coaches who aren't all about control. And actually, if you look at Ruben Amorim, he has fielded that type of player in his history. Look at Sporting, they would play guys like Marcus Edwards, not always, but sometimes, guys who are genuine entertainers.
I think the problem you have with the current football is too much of it is about control. There isn't that unknown, and there should be that. A player should be allowed to create that unknown. Yet he's consistent in, like, when we haven't got the ball. But when he's got the ball, there should be a little bit of an unknown factor where we're not quite sure what he's going to do.
Unpredictability.
But he could produce something of quality. But too often, everything is predictable because you know what everyone's going to do. Makes it really difficult to score goals or even create chances.
Free kick given away by Manchester United, just inside the United half. Leicester have it inside left channel. Thomas with a curling ball, and De Ligt heads it away from Ndidi, who was poised. And the flag is up as Conor Cody moved towards the ball on the right wing. 21 on the watch here on Premier League Live. Leicester 0, Manchester United 0. Leicester have gone 21 Premier League games without a clean sheet. They've conceded 62 goals. It's their worst defensive record at this stage of a league season since 1959. Andre Onana with the ball at his feet. Onana not too far away from 100 appearances for United. It's number 91 tonight. He's been regular in the Premier League for them in the last couple of seasons. And he bangs it down the inside left channel, flicked on by Dalot. Nice touch by Eriksson to Højlund, just inside the left edge of the penalty area. Cross is cleared. Fernandes with the shot, that was travelling. A bouncing volley. Comes out to Mazraoui, right edge of the penalty area. Spins away from El Khanous, and now Garnacho rolls it into Ugarte. 25 yards from goal, he works it to Mazraoui, right edge of the area, and the cross to the far post is shoveled behind by James Justin, and that was much, much better from Manchester United.
Yeah, good play, and what they kept doing is they kept winning the ball back, getting in the box, popping out, winning it against a good cross from Mazraoui, but there isn't anyone really. And you think about it, there's only 2 players in there. They need to get more players in the box, because if not, the crosser has to be incredibly accurate. There's only 2 in there.
It was 4 blue shirts and 2 reds, so
too many of the Man United players stand on the edge of the box.
Eriksson takes the low road, finds Fernandes on the edge of the area, and then Eriksson with a curling shot from the left corner of the box, and it hit the frame of the goal with Hermansen at full stretch, nowhere near it. That's the closest by far we've come to a goal. Christian Eriksen nearly came up with the stunner.
And that's the Eriksson we know. I mean, right behind it as he struck it, you heard me say it's in. I genuinely thought it was in, but it just didn't bend in enough time.
It's it beautifully.
Beautiful, beautiful bit of play. Like I said, what changes the game is a mistake or an individual bit of brilliance, and that was it. And what that does sometimes is it gives the team a shot at the arm, and they step up a little bit more. They just, because both teams need to be a little bit more urgent in possession.
It would have been his first Premier League goal of the season. He's got 4 in other competitions, but yet to score in the Premier League this season. It's his 16th appearance in the league this term, his 9th start. Of course, a player who is moving towards the latter part of his career, maybe. I mean, it is remarkable in some ways he's still going, in the sense that he had that horrendous cardiac arrest in the European Championship. It's great to see him out there, and it really was a fabulous attempt. Right-footed, curling from the left corner of the penalty area. Hermansen, full stretch, was never going to get there, but it clattered against the far post. Here is Aiden Heaven, a couple of yards in front of his own penalty area, across to Lindelöf. Bit of a surprise start at Lindelöf. It's only his 2nd Premier League start of the season tonight. But Ruben Amorim has to be very conscious of the Europa League. Of course, we're not that far from international break as well.
No.
Banged long by Onana, right in front of Ruben Amorim. He appeals for the throw and gets it. Amorim, who led Sporting to their first Portuguese league title for 19 years. And then he won the league title again 2 seasons later. Won the League Cup once with Braga, twice with Sporting as a player. 3 times a league title winner with Benfica, as well as a Portuguese Cup, and 5 Portuguese League Cups. He knows how to win a trophy, Ruben Amorim, and what he did with Sporting against big rivals in Porto and Benfica was really quite spectacular. But there was a sense he didn't really want to join United mid-season. He wanted to wait until the summer, and United pretty much said to him, it's now or never.
I wonder if he regrets that. I wonder if he regrets that, because it's had a lot to do with.
Here's Patson Daka trying to get away from Heaven, and how well has he started? Just very calmly levered the Zambian off the ball and came away with it. And Arsenal fans might be looking at some of his performances thinking, oh, we might have made a bit of an error there. But again, like we said earlier, you've got the best centre-back pairing in the world.
So they've got Calafiori who can play, they've Ben White who can play, they've got enough. And what you see sometimes is, at this moment in time, Heaven isn't going to get in the side. He's not going to get in it. And
it was about opportunity, wasn't it, really?
He was not going to, let's be honest, he wasn't. Them two are the best centre-half pairing for a while. They've been the best for a while. And they're young as well. And they don't get injured. So if I'm a player, I'm looking at it thinking I've got no chance.
Yeah, that's true. Space here for El Khanous, just trying to flip it forwards. Came for big money, Bilal El Khanous. He's only scored a couple of goals in the Premier League, but he's only 20. Here is Ndidi trying to cross it into the penalty area. Daka with a very elaborate turn there. Almost a balletic spin, and Heaven just lets that ball go out and then gestures to the away fans to give United a bit of a pep up. It's been a good start by the young man, Nathan Heaven.
Not quite sure what Lindelof was doing there, letting the ball go over his head. There's a little bit of poor defending from the most experienced centre-half there.
Heaven's trying to dig him out of trouble a lot so far. What did you make of that touch from Daka a few moments ago?
I don't know what he was trying to do, to be truthfully honest. If he just holds it up, sets it to the edge of the box for someone to shoot.
He spun away from one player straight into another. That was the problem. Connor Cody's come forward out of the defensive line and lost it. Doesn't look like a Leicester team that has much of an idea of how they're going to score. And here's Højlund for Manchester United into the area. Right foot shot, brilliant finish. Rasmus Højlund finally ends his goal drought. His first strike of 2025. It was a simple run down the inside right channel. At no stage was he challenged. And so he pulled the trigger and he found the bottom corner. And it's Leicester 0, Manchester United 1.
I think, Kevin, we were having a chat off air about him. If you serve him properly, he will get you goals. He's spun in behind. I'm not quite sure what the centre half was doing. Not quite, just poor defending. But now he's got decisions to make. He's got players haring down on him. He's taken 2 or 3 touches to set himself up, and he's finished it really well. And for me, this is what he's about. If they serve him properly, if they get the ball, because he's one of those who runs onto the ball. You get him knocking the ball down exactly like this, putting it into his path, because he can finish. Good finisher. Finally, it feels like they're seeing what he can do, because they're playing him as he should be played. Great finish.
Should never give up on young players too early. Ruben Amorim hasn't done that. He's continued to try and get him into this team. And Rasmus Højlund with the opening goal of the night. And Leicester find themselves behind yet again. And I have to say, Wout Vaas with some very curious defending, because he moved infield instead of coming across
I don't know what he was
to
doing.
engage Højlund.
I don't know what he was doing. I've got to be honest, there was some really poor defending. I think Samori was back there as well. And I just genuinely don't know what they were doing. You deal with the first ball, but no one did.
Go to the ball, and they just allowed him to keep moving down that inside right channel.
It's bizarre. But you see, the thing about it is, with those things, sometimes as a manager, you cannot legislate for those, because you've done so much work on defending and how you're going to defend and how you're going to move and how we shuffle across and when the ball, all of that, we do work on all of that. And then someone does something where you think, well, they've not done that in any training session we've done. I've not seen that. What am I supposed to do about that?
I feel like it happens to Wout Vaas a bit too often. You never like to criticise players too much, but at this level, those kind of snap decisions he tends to get wrong a lot.
For me, I think if you look at the majority of goals that Leicester let in, his fingerprints are on them somewhere. And for me, that tells you.
Gets caught in possession, gets out of position.
And it's basic. You know, if he's marking 1v1, I'm sure he can do that.
Yeah.
But when everything's going on around and now you have to think a little bit, I think he struggles.
He was a strong player for Reims in Ligue 1, but this is not Ligue 1. And I think that's been proven. Obviously in the Championship, he could stand out, but when you get to this level, where you have to make snap decisions so very often in a game, it just hasn't happened for him. He's not the only one in this Leicester team, of course, but he has struggled at this level. I mean, this is a team so far who've had one goal attempt. That was Jamie Vardy right at the start of the game. Since then, not had a single shot on target. Ruud van Nistelrooy was asked about this goal drought at home. He said, it's not something I'd focus on or blow up. We're working hard on conceding fewer goals, but in terms of scoring, that will come. When and how would be the question.
Well, they've not scored for the last 5 games. So
last 6 at home.
I didn't want to say it, but so you start to listen to what he's saying, and the facts tell you something completely different. Now you're looking at, just can you believe what he's saying?
Well, I think that's been the big frustration among Leicester fans, that they look at it and say, why doesn't he change the team? Why doesn't he admit the failures?
Yeah.
Because he just seems to be putting his fingers in his ears. And they are sliding towards the Championship. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, they are. I mean, if they're not there already, you do have to change, because what you realise after many defeats, it's not working. It isn't working. Let's not kid ourselves. So and to be honest, you keep doing the same thing. It's the definition of insanity, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Expecting different results. It's not going to happen.
The goals are going to come. Okay. What shows me? What evidence do you have? Because it's a stats-based game these days.
That's it.
So your statistics should tell you, do you know what, crikey, we need to do something about our attack.
If you have one touch in the box against Chelsea, you're not going to score a goal.
And like I said, I was fortunate enough to play. When I played, there weren't no statistics. We didn't work. Now, everything, you can't hide anything.
Yeah.
It's a stats-based game, and the statistics can help you as well. But if you choose to ignore them, which it feels like he's doing, then there'll be a millstone around your neck.
Yeah, you can't coach on vibes these days.
Can't do it.
33rd minute of play. Leicester 0, Manchester United 1. An excellent goal by Rasmus Højlund, his first of the year. That's the difference. Referee showing the yellow card to El Canouse. He's the first one in the book tonight, Thomas Bramall.
Well, that's not a good tackle, by the way. That's painful.
He's gone flying into...
oh, yeah, I don't like them. I know he's gone for the ball, but if he misses the ball, he's catching him on the weak part of his foot as well. Painful.
He was signed by the Belgian Giants Anderlecht when he was just 5, Bilal El Canouse.
Wow.
He was voted as the Belgian League's Young Player of the Season last season. He's a player that does give his all, there's no doubt about that. There's talent there. I mean, he's played a lot for Morocco, even at the tender age of 20. But
it's a good player, I like him. But again, he won't fit into the way Leicester play, because he plays with flair, and they don't have the ball enough. Flair players, as I said, will give the ball away. They don't have the ball enough.
He's one of those that with better players around him would probably thrive.
Exactly right.
Ndidi has just won a free kick for Leicester in the midfield. Wilfred Ndidi making his 295th appearance for Leicester tonight. Player that was signed by Genk earlier in his career, by Alex McLeish, the former Rangers and Aston Villa boss, based on a 15-minute video he'd seen. Here's Ndidi with the cross. That's how long ago it was. A video, they said.
I think I could put together a 15-minute video that would convince someone to buy me.
Oh, excellent.
Totally photoshopped.
Oh, good. You can do one for me while you're at it. Leicester have won themselves. It wouldn't take long for them to work it out with me. I can tell you that much. Corner kick to Leicester from this near side, the right. I think my fitness levels are probably a little bit short of what's required.
I just have to falsify the statistics.
Here it comes from El Canouse towards the near post, headed away by Bruno Fernandes. Wout Fast tries to keep it going but can't, and it's away by Mazraoui. United breaking quickly here in numbers. They tried to hit it early and long to Højlund, but the idea was right, trying to get it forward early to the day. Here is El Canouse for Leicester. 35th minute, Leicester 0, Manchester United 1. Ndidi with an early cross, Evans there again. barely put a foot wrong so far.
It's a foul
the
throw.
18-year-old, and then a foul throw. Would you believe
it's
it?
Terrible.
That wasn't on the video when indeed he got signed.
I doubt it very much. He must be frustrated, Jamie Vardy, because again he doesn't get the service he deserves. He's still strong enough and quick enough to cause problems, but they don't seem good enough to be able to serve him either.
He's another one, isn't he? If you put him in a top 14, he
No
would
doubt.
score goals.
No,
Absolutely.
even now, no doubt. Absolutely no doubt in my mind.
Got those instincts, got that technique.
Yes, it's stuff you can't coach. What he's got, you can't coach it.
Here is Patson Daka down the right, early cross towards Vardy, away by Lindelöf. Brilliantly brought down by Fernandes. He's probably playing as confidently as he has done all season, and maybe for a few seasons. He's always been a top-class player in this United side.
Yeah.
But at the moment, it feels like he could take on the world.
He does, but I think the malaise that Man United found themselves in, he was affected by it.
Yeah.
And you could see it in his performance. He's doing too much. Because I think I read Amrin saying, trust your teammates. I don't think he did.
Yeah.
I don't think he did. And with the best one in the world, with good reason.
But he's always been a little bit like that. He likes that main man energy.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. But that's because, if you think about when he first came to the club, the numbers he was producing were ridiculous.
Yeah.
There's no way ever he was going to be able to continue that. But he has been probably their best player for a long while. And when you're in a team where you're the best player and the others just are nowhere near your level, it can be so frustrating.
On ball towards Rasmus Højlund. It's interesting, he does play a more collegiate role with Portugal. But it is interesting, when Cristiano Ronaldo was part of the United team, Fernandes did kind of drop his level a little bit. I think there was a bit of an inferiority complex
Big time,
there.
big time.
Is Christiansen for Leicester, curling cross, that's better, much better, and Ugarte had to get there ahead of Ndidi to knock it behind for a corner, but that was an excellent cross from Christiansen, and Ugarte had to intervene.
It was really good recovery running from Ugarte, and you can see Ndidi's ahead of him to start with, and he just keeps going, and Ugarte's reading it, and he's reading it, and you can see him start to pick up the pace, and Ndidi's thinking, his eyes light up, he's thinking, I've just got to side foot this into the net. But no, Ugarte comes, makes the ground up and clears it. Really good recovery running from the midfielder.
He is primarily a defensive player, Manuel Ugarte, signed from Paris Saint-Germain. And he showed good instincts there. Here's the corner, whipped in with pace, headed away though by Højlund. Now the ball on the edge of the D, Christiansen couldn't keep it, headed away by Mazraoui. Christiansen wins it again, now Garnacho brings it down. Was he fouled? Referee has a look, and the ball goes down for a throw on the far side. That goal from Rasmus Højlund, by the way, only Manchester United's 35th of this Premier League season, only the 13th they've scored in the first half of a game.
Statistics show you just how different this Man United team is from previous years. The decline, really.
Yeah. Well, a tally of 34 going into tonight was their worst since 1990.
The records have been broken for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
They have done, sort of since Sir Alex left, really. They've been broken for the wrong... Maybe he knew that, Sir Alex. Maybe he knew.
Of course, there's all that talk about the new stadium this week. United have revealed plans for a new ground. It'll be close to the current Old Trafford site, but it wouldn't be on it. It would have a capacity of around 100,000. Thought the project could cost £2 billion. United's co-owner Sir Jim Ratcliffe says it'll be the world's greatest football stadium, and it could be ready in 5 years, but would they have an elite team to put in it? That's the big question.
That is the question. It's all right having a great stadium, but if your team, I look at Spurs at the moment, wonderful stadium.
Yeah, not a team to match it at
but
the moment.
not a team to match it at the moment.
And you look at Arsenal, for example, that took them a long while because they couldn't go big in the transfer market because they were trying to fund what became the Emirates, Ashburton Grove, as it was called at the time.
But you consider through that the great job Wenger did.
Yes.
Where they, for about 3 or 4 years, they didn't have any money, and he kept them in the Champions League.
Really underrated that
for
part of his tenure.
That was for me, that was the best part of his tenure, because people and what disappointed me was he took all the flack.
Yeah.
And it wasn't his fault. He took all the flack.
That's very him, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
To actually use himself as a shield.
Yeah, he did. He was absolutely brilliant, I've got to say. A wonderful manager, I've got to say. And, you know, I look at Arsenal now, and even today's game, which was horrific. It wasn't very good to watch. But again, it was risk-free football. No one wants to take risks. Yeah. Today's game, I saw a bit of it. Neither team wanted to take a risk. It was like, we don't want to get beat. We don't want to make any mistakes. We don't want to give the ball away.
High stakes that game. Arsenal managing to move a little bit closer to Liverpool, to within 12 points of them in the title race. Talking about taking risks, by the way, Aidan Heavens just surged forward from the defensive line down the inside left channel. He got brought down for a free kick. I'd argue Heavens arguably been the best player of the first half.
He's gone on and just drove forward, and that's what I'm talking about. Go and drive forward, go and commit a defender, make a defender have to make a decision.
Heavens just said he
just got smack in the face.
From Ndidi. It's going to be Eriksson to take this free kick. Curling towards the penalty spot, only half cleared. Fernandes with the shot, got right underneath it. And he tightens up with frustration because that was a wayward effort.
Well, he's ready. That's what I like about Fernandes. Always ready to shoot. Edge of the box, you've got to be ready, but he's off balance and he's slashed across it underneath it, so it's always going high.
It's a really difficult skill, that, isn't it, to actually... Because when you cut across the ball like that, how hard is it to keep your head over the ball?
It is, but that's the technical aspect. Is because what's happened is the minute you lean back, your foot goes under the ball, it's going over. So somehow you've got to get forward and get your knee over it. You get your knee over it, you're keeping it down.
It's almost like a battle of wills, isn't it?
Yes,
because
it is.
Everything in your body's telling you to lean back, but actually you have to wait until that last possible moment.
Exactly right.
See, I can say it, I just can't do it.
It's not easy because you get excited as well.
Here's Soumare in midfield, works it to El Khanous. 42nd minute, I have to say, since Jamie Vardy's shot that was saved early in the piece, Leicester have not looked remotely like scoring a goal, and they have not scored a goal at home since the second week of December. You heard me. The second week of December. We are now on the 16th of March. Almost had a whole season when it comes to the weather. And they haven't scored a goal at home. Given away by Mazraoui though to Christensen. Now Daka, 20 yards out, but he dwells on it too long. And there's Bruno Fernandes back to take it off his toe. Dalot in field, finding Fernandes, back to Lindelof. Victor Lindelof, a really interesting player in the sense that it's his 273rd appearance for United. He's been involved in some pretty poor teams in his time then. He actually played with Ruben Amorim at Benfica. And when he was at Benfica, he was seen as one of the best young defenders in Europe. He's not been a bad defender for United, but he hasn't quite hit the heights. United have given it away cheaply here. Daka with the shot charged down. Follow-up effort was blocked. They're calling for a penalty for handball. I don't think they're going to get one. But United authors of their own downfall there as they give the ball away on the edge of the penalty area. But Leicester could not take advantage.
Again, if you're rooming up Amorim, you're watching that and thinking, this is not what I asked you to do. You can't legislate for that kind of stuff. And really, Leicester should have done better. Should have done better. Two decent blocks from United, I have to say. But, you know, again, almost self-sabotaging. They're 1-0 up and cruising, really.
Ball is now with Soumare, forward to Daka, 30 yards from goal, left foot shot, and he didn't really begin to catch hold of it, Patson Daka. He hasn't scored in 2025 either, and it remains 1-0 to Manchester United.
Well, here's a chance with Daka, really good block from Heaven. And again,
Twice.
Two good blocks, I mean, the second one from Daka, if the truth be told, you know, the 35-yard shot with his left foot, he hasn't scored this year. Come back to the real world where you should just, you know, look at it honestly. And it's difficult for a centre-forward, an attacker, because you do anything to score.
He's another one that, when he was at Salzburg, looked like the next big thing, and just hasn't quite happened for him as a Leicester player. It's a big leap, of course.
I think the thing about it is, it's about the type of team you're coming into. If the team you're coming into is struggling,
it's difficult.
It doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter who you are. If you're coming into a team that's progressive, and Nottingham Forest, for example, you'll look a decent player because, you know, 60% of the time they're in possession, and what they do is they attack. Whereas you look at Leicester, like you said, how many touches in the opponent's box?
Yeah, not very many.
If that's what you're having.
One last week and only a handful tonight.
So what you're saying then is majority of the time, they don't have the ball. And when they do have it, it's nowhere near the attacking.
So it becomes desperation then, doesn't it?
So what happens to your centre forward then? He was running around and making runs and doing everything and never getting a touch.
Just one additional minute. And we're into that. Free kick for Leicester. There is some statistical encouragement for Leicester fans in the sense that 18 of their 25 Premier League goals have come after half-time. They'll have to do better than this. Here's Cody. Well, they've had 9 touches in the Manchester United box, so 10 across the last couple of games. But here's Daka. They're at least trying to up the tempo. Long throw to Justin, nods it down to Vardy. Back to Justin, but he's lost it to Matthijs de Ligt. And now Manchester United with maybe one final attack, but Eriksen thinks better of it. Goes back to Dalot. Just trying to see this through to half-time, with a handful of seconds remaining in the first period. It is half-time. It's a familiar story for Ruud van Nistelrooy and Leicester. No goals at home and behind again. Rasmus Højlund's first goal of 2025 separates the teams. A fine strike on 28 minutes. But it's been grim viewing for Leicester fans in this stadium. Half-time, Leicester 0, Manchester United 1 here on Premier League Live.
When the biggest names in the game talk, they talk to Jim White and Simon Jordan.
Good morning, Graham Souness.
Great to be here.
David Moyes.
We're ready to go again.
Tyson Fury, good morning.
Simon Jordan and Jim White, the best talk show on radio.
Players, owners, moguls, managers.
Liverpool legend Jurgen Klopp.
I listen from time to time. I cannot say that I'm a fan of.
This connection loaded with benefits. This connection loaded with benefits. Get T-Mobile's best home internet starting at $55 a month with auto pay and any voice line. Plus, price lock. We won't raise your rate on internet. Check availability at T-Mobile.com/home internet. Exclusions like taxes and fees apply. Guarantees.
Plus, get instant access to a wide range of podcasts, including Off Air with Jane and Fee, The Story, and Politics Without the Boring Bits. Download the free Times Radio app by searching for Times Radio on the App Store.
Get T-Mobile's best home internet starting at $55 a month with auto pay and any voice line. Plus, price lock. We won't raise your rate on internet. Check availability at...
With me, Darren Bent, and Andy Goldstein.
Unrivaled, opinionated comment from the biggest names in sport.
Insane acceleration, outstanding pace, next generation slipstream sport.
High-performance afternoon radio with more goal talk to the gallon.
Belt up and listen.
Talk Sport Drive with Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent.
Weekday afternoons from 4 on Talk Sport.
The fastest football on the way home.
Danny Kelly's Trans-Europe Express on Talk Sport.
He's a pundit and he's on Talk Sport.
Ik heiße Danny Kelly mit your match report.
On Trans-Europe Express, he has got all the scores with continental football games, big guests, and more. La Liga, Bundesliga, Serie A. Also, hey Kelly will make sure you're always in the know. He doesn't like to mention back in T3 that he was the editor of the enemy. Yeah.
Trans-Europe Express is back. TalkSport's continental collective of breaking news and insider reviews from Europe's major leagues is here.
Trans-Europe Express.
With Monsieur Danny Kelly. Sunday night from 9 on...
What's up, SO peeps? How we doing this afternoon, this evening, wherever in the world you are watching from? I love it. We've got a special guest. True himself is at this game right now. 1-0 at the half. Gotta love it. Højlund with the goal to get Manchester United up with the early lead in this one. As I'm seeing the cross right now on the off of the post in the 20th minute there, 27th minute, another great run forward for Hoyland. Great ball out of the back. He had a wing option as well. Takes the shot, far post, and buries it. Manchester United with the 1-0 lead. It was a lot of fun here. I'm sure True is having a blast at the game. As you can see there on my side, go back there, over there. True, who will play your EAFC games and elevate your team, is at this game live. True, we appreciate you sending over the video there, walking in. I'm guessing because you have gone completely dark, you have no signal inside that stadium, or it's very, very hard to get anything out. But it was awesome chatting with you as you were walking up there. Thank you. I can't wait to see the pictures. We're going to make an awesome video of that. So fans, SO peeps, make sure you're hanging out and you are looking out for that video that's coming up real soon. Probably in the next few days. We'll be doing a lot of video editing here as we get ready for March Madness. As you can see here, Toronto Sports Insider, I'm sure some of you are still here from the SEC tournament. We had about 200 or so people at the end of the game there watching the Florida Gators win the 2025 SEC Tournament Championship over the Tennessee Volunteers, locking that number 1 seed up in bracket mania, which is happening on Toronto Sports Insider. Selection Sunday today. Ryan, my brother, cheers, my man. Going to a Man U game is on my bucket list. Well, sir, you're going to get free tickets to a MLS game at some point this season. And I'm sure one day we'll get out to Manchester United because of the stuff that we've got going on here. Big shout out as well to Evolution Soccer Club. Coach K, you are the man. Thanks for hanging out with us this afternoon, and keep up the great work at Evo. You guys see some of the videos that we have here. The trailer, for example, was the goal that my son scored to bring the team back from a 0-4 deficit to a 4-4 tie, and then the team kind of lost it a little bit there at the end. But overall, that team is growing. He's come leaps and bounds since we just started just over a year ago. So Coach K and Evo, keep it up. Evolution Soccer, just outside Chicago. Big things ahead with Coach K and Evo as well. Big shout out to Coach Noah. All right, we're gonna get back to the soccer. Enjoy the walk-in. I'm gonna go hound True down to see if he can get any pictures out from his phone, and we'll see you guys in the chat. We'll send all of you over to the Raptors game tonight once this is done, and we're getting ready for March Madness. Get your brackets ready. I'll put my bracket pool link out as well. Somebody is here at my house, so I'll have to go show up with my things. Peace out. We'll see you in the second half. Go Manchester United, go. Let's get the W. Dude, who the heck is here?
You're not going to get the better out.
Pretty grim for Leicester. They had that early chance with Jamie Vardy that was saved by Onana, but apart from that, they've created next to nothing.
Well, for me, Leicester, they've in the middle of the pitch, they've had a lot of the ball running forward, but it's fizzled out 25, 30 yards out from Man United's box. They've tried to get crosses in, but I just think they have to now take risks. I think they have to, they'll probably keep it tight, but they've got to score a goal. They've got to know they can, because at the moment they don't know they can score because they haven't done it in a while.
No.
So they've got to get into a place where they can score, and that will change their mindset. But at the moment, and you have to take a risk to do that.
We've had Christmas and a couple of months since then, since they scored at home. Big game today at Wembley. Newcastle won it by 2-1 against Liverpool, the League Cup final. So congratulations to Newcastle, but of course commiserations to Liverpool. And their boss Arne Slot spoke to Alex Crook after the game, and Alex asked him what he thought of that display.
Well, obviously a disappointing result for your team. What did you make of their performance?
Disappointing as well. So the opposite from Tuesday. Tuesday was a disappointing result, but in my opinion a great performance. But you cannot compare these two games with each other. You cannot compare Paris Saint-Germain with Newcastle, but their game plan worked really well. So a lot of long and second balls, and through the air they are a stronger team than us, and both of their goals came from balls through the air. So credit to them, credit to their game plan, and a deserved winner with Newcastle.
Newcastle were very physical right from the start. Was it difficult for your players, your team, to match that physicality and intensity on the back of obviously going the distance against PSG in midweek?
No, because it wasn't an intense game at all. It were intense duels, but the rhythm of the game was very slow because every time there was a free kick, and there were quite a lot of free kicks for them. In the first half, they took their time, brought all their defenders forward, so the game wasn't intense in terms of running. The game was intense in terms of duels. And again, credits to them. They have players that are very, very, very strong in their duels. We have also players that are strong in the duels, but we also have players that like to play more over the ground. But the game was not ours. The game was more theirs. So we had to play their style, and they are better in that style than we.
And just finally, obviously a tough week out of the Champions League in midweek. Now losing a cup final at Wembley, still in a very good position in terms of the Premier League. Are you confident that your team can still get over the line in the title race? There'll be no hangover from this week?
The end of the week was definitely not the way we wanted it to be with Paris Saint-Germain and the loss of this final. But we started the week really well because we extended our lead from 10 points in the start of the week to 12 points. So that is still positive, but we also know that there are 9 games to go, and the end of the Premier League or finals like this or the end of the Champions League, it's always more difficult to win a game of football because everybody is fighting for something, and this is where we have to be aware of. So we have to go one step up to achieve what we're wanting to, but we are maximally aware of the fact that it's going to be 9 tough games, but with a good starting position.
A very magnanimous Arne Slot there, congratulating Newcastle on their performance and their victory. It was Newcastle's first major trophy of any sort since the 1960s, their first domestic trophy since the 50s, and the first time they've ever won the League Cup. So well done to them. In terms of the title race, Arsenal beat Chelsea earlier today, so the gap between them and Liverpool, 12 points right now. Second half coming up of Leicester-Manchester United on Premier League Live.
Previously on White and Jordan.
You look quite bronzed at this time.
Come back from Spain, haven't I?
Yeah, I know that. You came back with a red face, but
I did not come back with a red face. I came back. I have a red face, but people associate me with you.
100% engagement.
Listen, I'm many things, but I'm fair and equitable.
Did you look in the mirror before you left the loo in the morning and say, one thing I'm not is arrogant?
It's one of those circus mirrors where
let's get on with the
turn a tall person into a short person.
Warning, dangerous opinions ahead.
Stand by him. What are you whining about? Why are you crying?
Continues weekday mornings from 10 on Talk Sport.
Premier League commentator and radio host Tom Rennie here to tell you about my podcast, Week in the Tackle, with TV star, radio personality, and soccer legend Brian Dunseth.
Every week, we're going to recap the best of the Premier League, Major League Soccer, Champions League, and more, tackling the things we thought were interesting.
Did we decide on soccer or football in the end?
Whatever, my man. You know I'm happy either way.
It's called soccer. Do.
Week in the Tackle available wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe today so you don't miss a single episode.
Get bowled over with Following On, the fast-paced cricket podcast from Talk Sport that'll hit you for 6. It's a pitch-perfect delivery of first-class cricket news.
And that's a beautiful straight drive.
Boasting an impressive strike rate of exclusive big-name guests.
Oh, you little ripper!
And fielding fierce fan reaction.
Oh, that might be out.
Don't get caught out. Subscribe now to the Following On podcast. Available on Acast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Previously on White and Jordan.
The Championship gets an old geezer swinging a rattle. It's all about packaging and imagery and stardust. And the Championship and the EFL wants to be looked like the runt of a litter.
More meat, less waffle.
The opportunities are huge.
White and Jordan.
Join the Binary Broadcast Blowout, weekday mornings from 10.
On the world-famous Talk Sport.
Talk TalkSport Drive.
Weekday afternoons from 4 on TalkSport.
Hello, I'm Andy Goldstein.
And I'm Darren Bent. Fast and furious football talk for full-on fans.
Under the bonnet, over the top, into the back of the net.
A tower of sporting power in the afternoon.
100% nationwide coverage.
TalkSport Drive.
Revs up weekdays from 4.
With Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent.
The fastest football on the way home.
We'll have a bit of that.
Reasons to like TalkSport. 1, 2, 3. A bit of Simon Jordan, the hottest news from F1, the latest transfer deals done. Hawksby.
Rallies with the swinging 70s and
Tony Cascarino, a trip to the casino, a pint of cappuccino. Alan Brazil.
Just brilliant.
Adrian Durham, come here if you want some. We'll bloom and take you all on TalkSport's got skills.
Don't be a blockhead. Listen to TalkSport on DAB Digital Radio 1089 and 1053 AM, on the app and on your smart speaker.
TalkSport.
You're listening to TalkSport's coverage of Leicester City against Manchester United from the King Power Stadium. I'm your host, Kevin Hatchard, alongside me, the former Aston Villa, Crystal Palace and Charlton winger, Paul Mortimer. This is Premier League Live. So Rasmus Højlund's goal is the difference between the two teams. Leicester have not scored a goal at home since the 8th of December in the Premier League. Now would be a very good time to change that statistic. If they lose tonight, by the way, they will be 9 points adrift of safety, pretty much 10 with the goal difference, with 9 games to go. So it is looking increasingly desperate for the Foxes right now.
Well, I mean, they'd need championship winning form, wouldn't they?
There was.
When they can't score a goal.
Difficult to see title winning form coming from them at the
Absolutely.
moment. Back underway at the King Power. Leicester all in blue, playing from right to left in this second period as we look at it. Manchester United in those iconic red and white shirts with white shorts, playing from left to right. Manchester United, if they win the game, would be 13th. Imagine that, the dizzying heights of the top 13. But of course, it's not about that for them. It's about stringing together good performances under Ruben Amorim and actually trying to prioritise that run in the Europa League. They've got the French club Lyon coming up in the quarter-finals early next month. Ball is with Luke Thomas. I'll go through the two lineups for you in a moment. Here's El Khanous for Leicester, forward to Soumaré, Liga title winner with Lille, Boubakary Soumaré. He was on loan at Sevilla in Spain last season. He's come back for this Premier League campaign. So Leicester with Hermansen in goal, Thomas, Cody and Fas, the back three. Christiansen, Soumaré and Didi and Justin in midfield, with El Khanous and Daka supporting Vardy in attack. Ball is pumped out towards Ndidi on the right here. Low ball into the box, away by Lindelof, very calmly actually, into the path of Dalot. And United trying to play from back to front, and Højlund has won a free kick there. So United with Onana in goal. De Ligt, Lindelof and Heaven, the back three. Heaven making his first Premier League start, doing very well so far. Mazraoui, Fernandes, Ugarte and Dalot in midfield, with Garnacho and Eriksen, the two 10s, behind the goal scorer, Rasmus Højlund. Forward by Matthijs de Ligt, over halfway. De Ligt, the former Juventus, Ajax and Bayern player. He's got some big clubs on his CV. Giving it away here though, and here's Soumaré into Vardy. Vardy to the far post, and Daka was coming in and he couldn't wrap his boots around it, and the ball skitters behind for a goal kick. And I just wonder whether Jamie Vardy might have gone for goal.
Well, Man United give the ball away. Højlund doesn't hold it up well, and Soumaré, lovely bit of play. Now they're off. Good movement from Vardy. I'm thinking he's going to shoot, but he squares it. And to be honest, Heaven reads it well. Daka's tried his best. I think he's hurt himself, Heaven, unfortunately. I can see he went over on his ankle. But it's good play from Leicester, really good. And that's what they need to do, move the ball forward and pass forward and run forward a little bit more. Because Manchester United defensively are not great.
Making change already here, United. I wonder how serious this is for Aiden Heaven, because Toby Collier is getting ready to come on, just 21, Manchester United youth products.
It's a painful one, you can see as he goes over to block it, Daka, I think, lands on his ankle, and you can see his ankle just turn a little bit.
They've not messed around at all here. Told Collier to get changed and ready immediately, and this is a big concern actually for Manchester United, and a real shame as well, because Aidan Heaven's arguably been their best player of the night. Stretchers coming out already, and that's a big concern, because he's already off the pitch receiving treatment. So if they don't feel that he can actually put any weights on it, then as Paul Mortimer says, it's almost certainly an ankle problem.
Well, they're looking to make the change anyway, aren't they?
Collier, midfielder by trade, but he can play a bit further back. It'd be interesting to see what they do. And Ruben Amorim, his padded coat and his ice white trainers. Very continental setup there. Ready to make the change. What have you made of Ruben Amorim in his first few months as United boss?
Honestly, he's irritated me. I think he talks too much. I think he says too much. When you criticise your team and your players the way he has, and then the following Monday ask them to believe in you, it becomes really good. When you said this is the worst Manchester United team, I've got to say, if I'm a player having played, I wouldn't like to wake up one morning and hear my manager saying that.
I think he's found and he said this quite a lot when he first arrived, I think he's found the change from the Premier League. I mean, Sporting's a big club, make no mistake. It's a huge club. However, it's not the goldfish bowl that Manchester United is. And he arrived in England and everyone and his dog wanted to talk to him. Interview upon interview upon interview upon interview.
I mean, you know, if you look at the team that he's gone to, you know, it's not one of Europe's average sides. You know, and he's got to act accordingly. But I just think, personally,
is he a bit too honest in a way?
I think he talks too much. I do. And I don't know whether he wants everyone to like him or whatever. The most important people he needs to like him and trust him are the players. And I mean, I saw him. I was listening to him. He was talking about Marcus Rashford after he'd left. Let go.
You got to let it go. People keep asking him about it.
I know. But what he should be saying is, I talk about the players that are under my tutelage, and that's what I do. And that's, for me, I think, yes, I think he wants to be honest. I tend to believe that come next year, his press conferences will be very different. He will not be this open. He will not be this honest. It's not his team, exactly right. And I think a couple of things he said when he came. This is the way I play, and I'm not changing. And I thought that's a problem, because you see, systems are about personnel. If you don't have the personnel, you have to change.
But I suppose that, I mean, Heaven's, you're not missing anything, by the way. Heaven's still having the treatment, and we hope he's going to recover swiftly. But I have to say, it does not look good at all, which is a real heartbreaker, to be honest, because he's played so well and he's so young. And this is his first Premier League start. Just my counterpoint to that would be, he's been hired for a certain style that was very successful at Sporting. His predecessor, Erik ten Hag, got snared up in that trap because he arrived and he said, I don't have these players to play my way, so I'm going to compromise, and I'll do this and I'll do this. He won the League Cup in his first season. They finished third, and you thought, okay, he's made it work, but now he's going to go back to the football that we know can work for him. And it was too late then, because he tried to make the jump, got a couple of players that he wanted, but it was too jarring then, and the players have got into habits with him and couldn't change. So I can see where Amorim's coming from, because he's saying, right, this is why you've hired me, this is what I play, this is what I know works. I've now got, as long as you'll give it to me, a few months between now and the summer to work out if you can play it. Because if you five can do it and you five can't, then get rid of you lot, keep the five that can, and then we can build on it.
That's what he's doing. But I think just don't talk as much. Just because you put yourself under pressure when you start talking, you put yourself under pressure, and you know, this is a club where pressure comes with the job.
Exactly. It's not going anywhere.
Absolutely
put it that way.
not.
Aidan Heaven's been stretchered off, and we hope he'll get medical treatment as soon as possible.
They've
It
gone
won't
to a
be
4,
as bad as
haven't
it
they,
looks. Collier has come on. Nana with a really poor clearance, just sliced it straight into play there. Leicester have possession, so we're going to have a lot of stoppage time at the end of this game. 53rd minute, King Power. Leicester 0, Manchester United 1. Leicester second from bottom in the Premier League, 9 points adrift of safety. Only Southampton have scored fewer goals than them, 25 and counting. fast in his own right back zone, goes back to Hermansen. Leicester would have conceded about 3 goals more, according to the data, if Hermansen hadn't been in goal. He's been one of the best shot stoppers in the league this term. Bit of space here for Vardy. Inside right channel, 30 yards from goal, trying to find Justin. And Dallow comes across, plays it off Justin, and it goes behind for a goal kick. 54th minute, Leicester 0, Manchester United 1. If you're just joining us, by the way, a few scores from earlier. Fulham beat Tottenham by 2-1. Tottenham, a bit like Manchester United, pretty much treading water and hoping that the Europa League will save their season. Chelsea beaten 1-0 at Arsenal, so Arsenal have moved to within 12 points of top spot in the Premier League. Premier League title race still just about alive. And the Carabao Cup final, which we brought you live, saw Newcastle beat Liverpool by 2-1 at Wembley. Cross from the right by Leicester. Was there a foul as it was played? Justin just getting to his feet now, but the referee was happy to play on, so nothing untoward there. Here is the long-haired Wout Fast, big Belgian. Nice turn by Soumaré. He's had a decent start to the half. Still going, Soumaré. Still going, right foot shot. That's blocked by Lindelöf. Still going, Soumaré. Out to Justin, right corner of the area. Left foot cross. The header flicked on. Christiansen was coming in, and Collier nodded it behind for a Leicester corner.
That's better from Leicester. Soumaré's led them well. Good turns in the middle of the pitch. Just couldn't quite make his mind up what he wanted to do. Justin, decent cross in. And again, they keep it in there. That's the thing. They keep the ball in there, and they're causing problems for Manchester United.
It was actually offside against Christiansen as he attacked that header, so it is a free kick to Manchester United. Ruud van Nistelrooy was asked about Manchester United. He said it's a great boost for them to still be in the Europa League. Bruno Fernandes in great form. They're a team with momentum, and they're in a better place than they were when they beat us in the FA Cup. Manchester United are looking to beat Leicester for the 4th time this season. They've beaten them in the league, they've knocked them out the League Cup, they've knocked them out the FA Cup as well, and they have won their last 3 Premier League games against the Foxes.
I'm sure the fans will be asking if they could play them every week.
Yes, I think that would work out quite nicely for them. Here is Soumaré again. He's woken up since half time, but he's overrun it. Here's Eriksen with the right foot shot, and Hermansen saw that all the way into his glove. Dane against Dane. Comfortable for the goalkeeper there. Just tactically, what have United done since Heaven went off and Collier came on?
Collier's come into the right back position, and it looks like Mazraoui's gone to centre half.
They moved Dallow.
And Dallow's
left wing back
on the left. Yeah. But no, it looks like they're Delict in there, so it looks like there's still 3 at the back. Yeah.
It's opened up here for Højlund. 25 yards out, approaching the D. Slips it to Garnacho, winning his left foot. Garnacho, that's 2-0. Leicester stood stock still and allowed Alejandro Garnacho to cut inside and score. That's his first goal of 2025. Leicester proving to be obliging opponents. But is the goal going to be ruled out? Garnacho thinks he scored the second, but the flag has been raised.
They give the ball away again, and look how deep they are. And he should stay onside, Garnacho, but he is offside. He should stay onside. They're 3v3. How does that happen? They're 3v3 at the back, and I think he's just gone into offside position. And yet again, no one comes out to shut him down.
Does Højlund need to play that pass earlier?
It would have helped, yes, because then Garnacho's got a lot more space to play with, and it would have been easier. But yeah, the closer you get to the penalty area, you've got to make the decision quickly.
It does look from what we're seeing on our monitor.
Offside.
It's not the standard it is. So Garnacho sees the goal ruled out. His goal drought continues. He's not scored a goal since November.
Kevin, let's see if Leicester learn, because they've given the ball away poorly, and then everyone is so far away from the Manchester United attackers that Højlund was allowed to run unaided, no obstruction for about 20 yards. That can't happen.
Look at the bottom 3 right now. It is the 3 that came up from the Championship last season. Ipswich on 17, Leicester on 17, Southampton on 9. One of the worst teams the Premier League has ever seen. Is that a big concern for you, that gap between the Championship and the Premier League?
Do you know what? No. The reason I say no is because Brighton, Brentford.
Yeah.
You know, there are
established themselves.
There are teams that have done it. It's just okay. We're in a cycle where these three are not great, but we have to keep hoping that there'll be the odd team that gets it right. Yeah. Because look at Brentford now, and look at Brighton now, and look at Nottingham Forest, and look at Fulham. There's teams that have got it right and understood what's required and done it. I mean, these three have been poor, and on the whole, they're not all three of them every year as poor as these three are. You know?
Yeah, Ipswich have had an incredible run, really, where they've won back-to-back promotions.
Yeah.
It's then very difficult to really establish yourself at this level. Once you've done that, here is James Justin for Leicester. Left foot cross straight at the goalkeeper. Comfortable for Onana. When a fair few of your players were playing League One football 2 years ago, it is difficult to then.
And there's a nucleus of their side that was.
Yeah.
And that kind of tells you. I know they've spent over £100 million, but that in the Premier League, that will only get you 2 or 3 players. That doesn't get you a team. That doesn't get you a team. If you're lucky, that'll get you 3 players. You know, only one of them to get injured, and the whole thing is different.
Yeah. I'm sure Kieran McKenna will do exceptionally well as a coach eventually. He's done brilliantly at Ipswich, but he, of course, is a rookie at this level. He's been an assistant.
He'll be fine. I think he's got a good reputation. He's coached at a big club in terms of Manchester United. He just hasn't got the players that are of the quality required for him to be as successful as he'd like to be.
Look at this league. Manchester United 13th, Tottenham 14th. Look at the amount they've spent on their squad.
Exactly right.
Here's Vardy, inside left channel for Leicester, an hour gone. Leicester nil, Manchester United, want a reprieve for Leicester with that Garnacho goal ruled out. Here's El Khanous sliding it through, Onana comes out and gets it. Daka felt he was brought down, referee unmoved.
He was pulled back a little bit, but not enough. I think Mesraoui just pulls him a little bit. It's not enough though. Not enough to send him to the floor.
Nice run from El Khanous. Just got a bit too much on the reverse pass.
But he's got to do that more.
He doesn't commit players enough, does he? He can do it.
No. For the ability he has, it should happen more.
Ball's run loose here to Eriksson. Leicester gave it away. Edge of the D, right foot shot. Deflected and it goes behind for a Manchester United corner. But again, Paul Mortimer, Leicester having their pockets picked.
Well, Samari, I mean, I could mark him. A couple of times he's got the ball and turned really well.
Yeah.
And he did it a couple of times. But the last 5 times he's given the ball away. Because he's not looking at what's beyond him. He's not sideways on. He's just turning, thinking no one's on him. Now, if I'm a defender, I'll just wait. And then I'll just pick it off him, which is what everyone's been doing. So he's not learning.
Yeah.
And he needs to start sideways on. Can I see what's behind me? Might be good to turn, might not be good to turn. But he's too predictable to play against.
It's led to a corner. The rain's bucketing down now at the King Power. Lovely March weather. And it'll be Eriksson's take. Dalot on the near post. It's flicked on by Collier. It drops now for Lindelof, and the shot comes in from Garnacho. Edge of the area, right foot effort. Inside right channel, and it's fallen on by Hermansen, and he boots it long, looking for El Khanous. Bruno Fernandes gets there first and just sweeps it back to his goalkeeper, Onana. It was fairly calm before the last couple of minutes. It's absolutely hammering down now. Away by Onana, all in yellow tonight. Headed by Thomas, who's playing in this wide centre-back role. We've always known him as a full-back, really, in his career. But all of a sudden, playing in this back three. Ruud van Nistelrooy has changed the formation of late, but hasn't changed anything in terms of results. Leicester still sliding towards another defeat without scoring. 63rd minute here on Premier League Live. Manchester United, who haven't lost at the King Power since October 2021. They went into this weekend 15 points off the top 4. No chance of Champions League football through the Premier League, but they might qualify for it if they win the Europa League. A lot of good teams to overcome before that, then. He's rolled back towards Matthijs de Ligt, goes back to Onana, he bangs it long downfield. Header is won by Luke Thomas. Manchester United will face either Rangers or Athletic Club in the semi-finals of the Europa League, which will be tough as we see Jamie Vardy try and win a loose ball, and he's fouled Matthijs de Ligt. He's not very happy with life, Jamie Vardy.
No, he doesn't. I mean, I can imagine him getting really frustrated because he knows what he can do and he knows that he can score goals, but he's just not getting the service that he needs.
Extraordinary player, extraordinary career. 109 of his 143 Premier League goals have been scored since he turned 30. That's phenomenal in terms of the way he's looked after himself, the way he's maintained his form.
Yeah. The modern day player is slightly different. They have everything possible to help them to remain fit, to look after their bodies, nutrition. Everything is quite scientific now in the way players look after themselves. So, you know, some will have their own chefs, all of that, you know, everything that you can think of that will help him to maintain his physical presence in the Leicester side. He will spend money to do, and the club will do.
You don't have your own chef then?
No. I can't say my wife is my chef. That would be unfair.
Or that would have you in big trouble.
That would have me in huge trouble.
We will not go there.
I can cook, but she cooks as well.
Fair enough.
What about you?
Very diplomatic.
Have you got a chef?
I absolutely do not. No, it's a team effort, let's say.
Exactly.
Although one member of the team is significantly better than the other.
Exact same here. And I'm not naming names.
Yeah, I am not the superior one, I'll tell you that much. Here come Manchester United. Double change for Leicester to tell you about in a moment. But here's Dalot. Works it out to Ericsson, left edge of the penalty area. Cross was poor, cut out by one of the subs who's just come on for Kundo Buonanotte. The other one, Harry Winks. Here's Bruno Fernandes with an effort from range. And that skids wide of the target, with Hermansen not really worried about it. So Patson Dak has gone off, Bubakari Soumare's gone off, Harry Winks and Facundo Buonanotte have come on. Buonanotte, who's not had a lot of game time under Ruud van Nistelrooy.
Yeah, I've liked him. But you see, again, because he's a risk taker, and clearly Van Nistelrooy wanted some control. You know, we're going to play a certain way, we're not going to give the ball away. Buonanotte will give the ball away, but what he will produce could win you the game.
That's exactly it. That shot from Fernandes took a deflection, by the way, led to a corner. Here's Ericsson, and he whipped it in too close to Hermansen. Hermansen able to take it. It's quite a significant Danish presence on the pitch tonight. So Ericsson, Hermansen, Højlund, Christiansen. Canuce runs out real estate, and Collier comes across to deal with him. Collier's done pretty well since coming on, the youngster.
He's picked up the pace of the game pretty well. And that's important as a sub. It's a very difficult thing to do sometimes as a sub, is pick up the pace. It's an art to pick up the pace of the game and fit in without looking, you know, getting caught on the ball or out of position. He's done really, we started really well.
Come through the youth ranks at Manchester United. He's only 21. It's his 6th sub appearance of the season in the league. He's played in the other competitions as well. Bit of space here coming in off the left for Dalot, who had the shot that was charged down. And then it's swept away, but not very far by Leicester. It'll come out to Mazraoui. Down with the corner flag on the right-hand side, the near side as we look at it. Takes on Christiansen into Garnacho. Back out to Mazraoui. Now Collier to Fernandes on the edge of the area. And the shot from Garnacho! He's squeezed in at the near post. And now he does have his goal. He's first of the calendar year. Hermansen caught by surprise, got a hand to it, couldn't keep it out. Garnacho just inside the penalty area, and his snapshot means that it's Leicester 0, Manchester United 2.
Yeah, it's the quickness of the shot that's caught Hermansen. He's done really well to get a hand to it, but he's in a flash. And again, there's no Leicester players really looking to shut the ball down. They're on their heels. They're not coming forward to go and close the space down, because if they get closer to it, again, they win the ball back. And I think at one point they do win it again. They win it, and again, it's errors. They win the ball back, they can't keep it, and everyone is on their heels as Garnacho turns. And, you know, it's a simple turn, swivel and shot into the corner. And the keeper does well to get there. He's unsighted, I should think. But the game's far easier now for Manchester United.
Bruno Fernandes has made both goals tonight, by the way. It was his lovely pass through to Højlund that led to his strike, and that was a little prodded pass into the path of Garnacho. But as Paul Mortimer says, Conor Cody unsighted his goalkeeper, and Hermanson, having tried to make the save and it squeezed beyond him, was complaining immediately to his defenders.
Yeah, he's not getting the protection he should. Triple sub for United. Oh, Garnacho's coming off.
That's a mic drop. Eriksson and Ugarte, the other players who are coming off. And it is a senior debut for Harry Amas, who is another youth teamer, England Youth International. Generally a left back, so he's one of the players that comes on. Leicester brought on Casemiro in midfield, and they brought on Joshua Zirkzee.
I was just remarking on Leicester's passing. Thomas has played the ball forward there into the sort of advanced left wing position. There's no Leicester player there at all. It's just like a hoofs ball up the pitch. I don't understand, to be honest.
So, great moment for Amas, who's a player who's highly rated at United. His first taste of senior football. And he's moved out to that left-hand side. It's his more natural position. And they've moved Dallow across to the right wing-back role. And just a little reshuffle for Manchester United. Zirkzee's gone into the 10. Casemiro into centre mid, and Bruno Fernandes the other 10. And that's the beauty of a player like Fernandes. You can play that midfield role, you can play that 10, and you can shift them around here, there.
He can play anywhere. He's versatile. He's an intelligent player, and he's got good ability, so he can play anywhere and not be too worried about the pressure or anything. He's a very good player, I've got to say. Playing good football at the moment.
20 to go, but we'll have a fair bit of stoppage time after that because of the injury to Aidan Heaven, who seemed to really badly damage his ankle. He was stretchered off. One hopes he's okay. He made such a promising start. His first Premier League start in his pro career. Collie with the turn, turning into trouble rather than away from it. Indeed, he wins it on that right-hand side. He's had a few runs down the right, but it's absolutely not his game, indeed.
No, it's not.
It's a race down that right-hand side, and a little 1-2 with Buonanotte didn't come off either.
Well, what you're looking at, he's a holding midfielder, and he's been your most attacking midfielder.
That's a worry,
problem.
isn't it?
It's a problem, because you're talking about all the others who possibly should be far more offensive in their play. I wonder if he knows what to do, Van Nistelrooy. So I have to look at him and I think, I'm not sure he knows what he can do.
It's been tough for him. I mean, you look at his coaching career, he won the Dutch Cup and he won the Johan Cruyff Shield with PSV. Had a decent stab at the title race, but he left with a game to go in that season. Felt he didn't get enough backing from the board, felt that the relationship with the players wasn't quite as strong as it could have been. It caught people by surprise that he was part of the coaching staff at Manchester United. And now he's got this big chance at Leicester. Hasn't worked out. Here's Zirkzee. Out to Amas on the left-hand side, and his cross pouched by Hermanson, too close to the goalkeeper. So Jim Radcliffe, I mentioned in the first half, talking about the new stadium. He did cause a bit of a stir by saying that some of United's players are overpaid and others are not good enough. Bruno Fernandes hitting back. He said, it's not nice to hear certain things, and I don't think any player likes that kind of criticism, and it's the club who agreed the contract.
You know, is he a manager or a coach? Is he a manager? Is he a coach? I don't know. I mean, is he qualified to say who's good enough, who isn't?
It's an odd situation that he's another one who probably talks too much, if we're honest. I mean, he gets interviewed a lot, but he seems to put his foot in it more often than not.
Well, look, Kevin, this is a billionaire businessman. He's not stupid.
No.
I can't believe that because he's come into football, his brain has been frazzled, and you know, he's not stupid. He's saying this for a reason. Let's not kid ourselves. But to name players, I think, is always...
It's a bit odd, that, isn't it? It's a bit odd.
Because you don't even know them. That's the thing. You don't know them.
Yeah.
You don't know their value to the group. You don't know them.
You're making the manager's job more difficult,
exactly.
right?
So for me, if you want to in-house pull them and moan at the manager, do it. But the minute you step out into the public domain, you are now challenging that player, because now when you meet that player after the game, what are you going to say?
Well, yeah, if you've said, they're overpaid and they're not playing very well. I mean, one of them
not good enough.
I mean, a couple weren't at the club anymore.
Yeah.
Guys like Anthony, but
Casemiro, Onana.
You mentioned Onana, you mentioned Casemiro. They're playing right now for Manchester United. So it was a strange thing to do, truth be told.
Bizarre. Like I said, stop talking. Talking in-house.
Yeah.
Stop giving social media meat on the bone to work with.
Stop giving people like us things to talk about.
See, honestly, I'll be honest with you now, Kevin. Every time I see it, I just think,
why? What are you doing?
What are you getting out of criticising your own employees? I don't understand.
Here is Fernandes finding Collier inside right channel. 74 on the watch. And Fernandes approaching the edge of the penalty area. Right-footed cross is blocked. Collier manages to sweep it to that right-hand side to Dalot. Collier's played a couple of positions so far. He was at right back, now he's central midfield. Casemiro around the corner, straight to Luke Thomas. You have to feel that Leicester at least have to try and score here. That would end the run and at least get that particular drought ended. At the moment, it's a grim old picture.
Just nothing tells me that they can.
Vardy with a bit of strength here. Shrugged off Lindelof into the penalty area. Squares it. Buonanotte with the shot blocked by De Ligt. Excellent defending from the Dutchman. I thought that was the moment, but the moment slid by. Buonanotte with good tenacity to win the ball in midfield. Has a look round, just lays it off for Thomas. And we're into the final 15 minutes of normal time at the King Power here on Premier League Live. Leicester 0, Manchester United 2. The first goals of 2025 for both Rasmus Højlund and Alejandro Garnacho, ending their long goal droughts. Leicester have been obliging opposition in that regard. Here is Wout Vaas. Moves it out to that right touch line for James Justin. Wout Vaas again. Right-footed curling ball, only half cleared by Mazraoui. And De Ligt bangs it further clear. Connor Cody with the first touch in the centre circle under no pressure. United just retreating into a lower block. Just daring Leicester to try and play through them. Another thing they found very easy. Just simply stopped scoring goals. This could be the 6th straight Premier League game that they've lost without scoring. Here is Bilal El Khanous coming in off the left touchline, and he breaks the lines, finds Harry Winks. Winks across now to Wilfred Ndidi. It's a very bouncy first touch from him, and it invited the challenge. And he got that all wrong. And it's a free kick to Manchester United, and to add insult to injury, a yellow card for Ndidi.
Well, he's just overrun the ball, Ndidi. And yeah, he doesn't get the ball at all. It's not nice. He crunches De Ligt on his ankle. That's quite painful, them ones, because all of his weight's on it as well, Ndidi. It's quite painful. And a definite booking.
And yet his quote to the referee, how is that a foul?
Well, because I didn't get the ball.
Yeah,
first and foremost.
Just going back to the previous chance, Vardy too strong for Lindelof, and he did the right thing, cut it back for Buonanotte. It was a good block by De Ligt.
Good block from De Ligt. I'm thinking, Vardy, shoot yourself. You squared it a couple of times, nothing's happened, shoot yourself, but he's done the unselfish thing, and it's good defender from De Ligt. Yeah, that's painful, that'll be painful. He'll run it off, contact injury, but it's painful, that.
13 to go. Normal time as things stand, Leicester will stay second bottom in the Premier League. There'll be 9 points adrift of safety, but if you think about goal difference, it's probably 10 points adrift of safety, with only 9 games left in this Premier League season. Not too far away from the end. A couple of months left. A couple of months for Leicester to avoid an instant return to the Championship. Southampton pretty much down. Ipswich and Leicester heading that way. 3 that came up from the Championship heading straight back down. Here is Mazraoui, former Bayern Munich and Ajax player, very experienced performer. Nice little 1-2 there on the edge of the area. Out it goes to Dalot now. Dalot with Christensen for company. Back to Mazraoui, back out to Dalot, twisting and turning, infield to Fernandez. Can United put some icing on this cake in the closing stages? It's one of the things that always gets fans on side, to see youngsters coming through the academy. Ruben Amorim's being quite clever about that. He's also trying to see who he can use for next season. Casemiro with the shot that was charged down. It would be a surprise to see Casemiro at the club at the start of next season. A player that feels like he's been linked with a move away from United as soon as he arrived.
I think he's got another year and a half, hasn't he? He's not leaving. I don't think he's going to leave. Money's getting paid. I think he's going to leave.
He won't want to leave.
No. And this is why when a manager comes in and says, I'm going to play this way, if this player doesn't fit and he doesn't leave,
what do you do then?
What do you do?
Then it's about authority, I guess, isn't it? Because then it's about, if the people at the top of the club have said you do what you want on blank canvas, then you can do that.
Yeah.
But it's when the people at the top of the club start to get a bit nervy about those things, that's when it starts to go wrong. Here's Zirkzee for Manchester United. He's starting to get some serious game time as a 10 in this Amorim system. And it goes to Dalot now, fed by Fernandez, Portuguese to Portuguese, and now Collier. If you're just joining us, 80th minute, Leicester 0, Manchester United 2. Rasmus Højlund scored in the first half. Alejandro Garnacho scored in the second. Manchester United heading up to 13th in the Premier League. 10 points adrift still of the top 7. 11 adrift of the top 5, which will get you a Champions League spot. But it would be a huge surprise to see them get anywhere near that.
I can't see that.
Well, they are going to prioritise the Europa League, I'm pretty sure of that. They fancy themselves against Lyon, who are an inconsistent side, can be brilliant. They've got some really good technical players, but found it quite difficult this season to find that consistency. Much tougher test awaits in the semis, potentially. Here's Dalot nodding it forward from the right-back zone. Collier, that was a bit short, seized upon by Thomas in midfield. It's a nice turn by El Khanous. He tried to thread it through for Ndidi, but a good challenge on the edge of the area by Matthijs de Ligt. Just holding his arm there, de Ligt. Moving gingerly since that challenge from Ndidi, truth be told. Here's Harry Winks, making his 150th Premier League appearance, Harry Winks tonight. Former Tottenham player. And he's another one, very steady player, experienced player, but he's not going to set a game alight for you. Here's Buonanotte trying to make something happen for Leicester, but he was surrounded by 3 red shirts and dispossessed, and then Wout Fast tries to win a throw on the far side. Puts a hand through that sideshow bob hair and screams at the linesman. It's not been his night, it's not been Leicester's night. 82nd minute of play. Leicester 0, Manchester United 2. It'll only be their 10th league win of the season.
Underperformed big time this season.
I think they've accepted, and I think pretty much everybody accepts that the decision to keep Erik ten Hag in the summer was the wrong one. And he needed to pursue other options. A couple of changes here. Justin and Christiansen have gone off, the 2 wing backs, and they've brought on Steffi Mavididi. It's Casey Makatira, academy product, 23 now. Mavididi, former Montpellier and Juventus player. He's a forward, he can play wide. He's a player that got 13 goals in all competitions last season. He's in possession here, Steffi Mavididi. He's got Dalot for company, right-footed cross towards Vardy, but he's outjumped by Lindelöf. 83rd minute, Leicester 0, Manchester United 2. Here's Mavididi. Lofts the ball into the area, headed away by de Ligt. Fast comes to try and get it. Zirkzee just drifts away from him. That was nice from Joshua Zirkzee. Lovely skill to take him down the left. Fast just trying to chase him down and eventually got there, to be fair. Well, knocked it out.
I actually think that's a foul. I think it's a foul. I think he catches him. I think he's holding onto his shirt. And the ref gives nothing. I actually think it's a foul. I don't think it was good defending at all.
Bit of a Benelux Barney developing here between the Belgian Fast and the Dutchman Zirkzee, both with rather voluminous hairstyles. Farcical element to that as they bumped at each other. I think Zirkzee agreed with you that it probably was a foul. Then McAteer, who's just come on, got involved for no apparent reason. Referee just trying to calm Zirkzee down. It will be a throw to Manchester United. I mean, unless something extraordinary happens in the closing stages, it's been quite grim, hasn't it, really, for Leicester again.
It has. It looks like Højlund's coming off.
Højlund is going to come off, and Chido Obi, who's a Danish youth international, who signed from Arsenal recently. Arsenal proving to be quite
generous,
fertile ground for United recently. He's going to come on, and he's made a bit of an impact since joining the club. I think the United fans have really particularly liked his performance against Fulham in the FA Cup. Thought he played really well. So Chido Obi is on for one of the goal scorers, Rasmus Højlund. Faded a bit, Højlund, in the second half.
But they're going to, Obi's going to run about. He's going to cause problems. He's going to be, he's going to be prepared to put the ball at risk. He's going to play in those unpredictable ways that get people standing up and really looking forward to watching him.
If there is a bonus of United being in this position where nothing's really happening for them in the league, this is it, isn't it? I mean, they started with Heaven, unfortunately, got injured. They brought on Collier, they brought on Obi, they brought on Harry Amas, who they seem to like very much. So he's got some minutes now in the Premier League. And if those guys play, most of the games between now and the end of the season in the league, then at least they've got some minutes in the tank ahead of next season.
I agree. I think they'll be ready. They'll be match ready next season, won't they? They'll be ready for it. And because they've played enough, it won't faze them. And also, you can see that they are adjusted to it, because that's the thing, it's the adjustment. Can you make the adjustment to the level? I thought that was a foul again by Zirkzee, by Face.
Ndidi again racing down the right wing. Whipped in towards the near post, away by De Ligt. Because the one thing we've learned, I think, this season with a lot of different clubs, actually, such is the nature of the schedule these days. You've got to have a big squad, because you'll get caught out if it's too thin. And there's nothing wrong with having these young guys ready to come in when you need them.
Well, that's what we're moving towards. There's a couple of things, if you think about it. With profit and sustainability, you're going to have to sell your young players. So now you have to have a look at them and put them in the market. And so it's a twofold thing. Yes, you're looking at seeing if they can play for the team, but if they can't, you've got players who are ready-made for other teams, and they will give you profit. Exactly right. Exactly right. So because it's a business, you have to look at it that way as well. If they can't play for me, I've given them enough game time that someone else might have them, and that frees up cash for me as Amarin.
Just on the Leicester side of things, I mean, they are heading for a 13th defeat in the last 14. When do they get to the point where they say this is enough? I'll ask you that in just a moment. They're going to take a long throw here. Leicester from the right towards Fast, only half away. Obi clears, back in by El Khanous. Up but not really, away by Lindelof. That was strange. Nearly falls from Mavididi, cleared, and offside. I mean, after this, you've got 9 games left. Do you go to somebody who does have a track record of trying to drag teams clear of trouble and say, right, you might as well have a go? Or is it too late?
Well, let me just say, their next 4, Man City away, Newcastle home, Brighton away, Liverpool home.
I mean, there are some good magicians out there.
Well, I'm telling you,
might need that Darren Brown or Dynamo to come in or something like that.
I think probably what they're doing, if they're wise enough, is they're preparing for next season. Because I've got to say, like I said, championship winning form is what they're going to have. And that just isn't going to happen. They can't score a goal.
At least Van Nistelrooy the man for that. He doesn't seem to be.
I just think, they'll realise Van Nistelrooy was a poor appointment, because he just wasn't ready for it. And I don't think he'd be ready for the championship either.
No, I mean, I always look at it and think which other clubs would have made that move, and not many, because he's got so little experience at this level.
Yeah, it's a hell of a gamble It's a hell of a game. It's not like, you know, Frank Lampard with Chelsea, where Chelsea aren't going down. This is a team that's just come up. You need an experienced manager.
And at least with him, and actually Lampard, to be fair, is doing a great job of commentary.
Yeah, he is.
But with him, he had that identity with the club. He had that link, and that can get you so far.
Oh,
it's
it does. It will
it's
buy
not
you some
panacea,
time.
but it works for a bit.
It will buy you some time.
Yeah.
And it did with Lampard. But I look at Van Nistelrooy. The problem that you have is you need to, as fans, you need to know what he's doing. You need to know. You can see it clearly. His idea, you can see, and there's times where I'm looking, thinking,
I've got no idea how this team plays. None at all.
And therein lies the problem. So the fans, you know, I feel sorry for Leicester fans because they've had to put up with some terrible. I think they'd have, as much as they didn't like him, I think they'd have Cooper back now.
100%.
Because he's got experience, and that's the thing money can't buy at this
They were
level.
scoring some goals and looking competitive, which they absolutely have not under Van Nistelrooy. Here's Dalot, just skipped away from Mavididi. Plays it low to the edge of the area and swept in by you-know-who. Bruno Fernandes strikes again. A Portuguese co-production. Dalot with some lovely skill on the right flank. Cuts it back, and there was Fernandes. Edge of the area, right foot shot. It's a golden night for Manchester United. It's another grim evening for Leicester City. It is 3-0.
Well, I should think there'd be a mass exodus now of Leicester fans on their way home. See if they can get home a little bit earlier, because, you know, that was comfortable. There was no real problem there. Again, for me, it's too easy. And you look over this side, Dalot against, I think it's Mavidi, and it just poor defending, if the truth be told. It's cut back, and Bruno Fernandes could have had a touch. He could have sat down and had a cup of tea. He had so much space. There was no one near him. No one. That can't happen. But that's the type of goal Leicester let in all the time, where they've got a lot of defenders around and no one is taking responsibility for anything.
I mean, a defender Mavididi is not, but he's just made Diogo Dalot look like prime Ronaldinho there.
Well, he's not a defender, but he should know how to defend.
He should be going to ground like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Poor old Jordan Ayew who's just been brought up.
Yeah,
Go on then, Jordan.
Yeah.
Come on.
Come
It's
and
the
get us a
game.
goal. You know, I can't understand 90th minute when you're 3-0 down. It's pointless bringing anyone on. If I'm a sub, I'm not happy at coming on. What are you wanting from me? The game is lost. The players' heads are down. What do you want from me? I don't understand.
I have to say as well, I mean, we've got 8 additional minutes after the Aiden Heaven injury, but I have to say, if you're Jordan Ayew, you know, really established Premier League player, known largely, I have to say, for his work without the ball.
Yeah, that's right.
But will always do a job, will always work really hard.
He's a soldier,
Canoes has come on for. You look at Daka, who's offered very little to the game.
Yeah.
You just wonder how was he got in ahead of Ayew there, but
these are decisions the manager makes.
Yeah.
And what happens is when you start to make ropey decisions or decisions that don't make sense, you start to lose the players.
Yes.
And now the players, because they're not
playing well.
They're not stupid. The players know who should be in the team and who shouldn't be in the team.
Canoes is the one who's made way for Jordan Ayew. Ayew does have 4 goals actually in the league this season. He's out fast inside right channel, forward to Winks. Winks can't force it beyond Casemiro. Casemiro, a winner of 15 or 16 rather major honours at Real Madrid, including 5 Champions Leagues.
It's when he had legs.
That's true.
I mean, I think he's again a very good player, but not in this league.
But also with much better players around.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
And he had a very specific job in that team, whereas
and he did it beautifully.
I think when he came to United, he had so much more ground to cover all of a sudden.
When he came to United, I bet he couldn't believe the drop in quality. You know, and the just how much more work he was finding himself able to do that at his age, at that time of life, he couldn't really do.
He's fast again down the right-hand side. Just caught as he released that ball, but the referee happened to play on. Low ball into the area, stabbed away by Lindelof. United heading for rare away win. It'll be only their 3rd in the last 12 in the Premier League. Here's Mavididi down the left. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Couldn't wrap his left boot around it. Sliced it way over the crossbar. It's a moment to sum up Leicester's attacking output tonight, as Paul Mortimer says. Leicester visit Manchester City next. Manchester United have a tough game next. They go to Nottingham Forest, but by then they're going to be working towards that Europa League quarter-final against Lyon. So Ruben Amorim may well shuffle his pack ahead of that one. Two players to come back in. Patrick Dorgu, who's made a real impact at left wing back. He's suspended at the moment after that red card against Ipswich, so you'd expect him to be back sooner rather than later. It's interesting, Fernandes with yet another goal tonight. That's 18 now for club and country this season. Ruben Amorim, his compatriot, feels that he's had a raw deal from some of the former United players who are in the media. He said he's so important for this team. You look at the numbers, he's always the guy who scores. He said, I know former players at United had really high standards, but he said you have to understand the context of what Fernandes is doing. I think that's a fair point, isn't it?
Former players at Man United played in a different team with a different mindset. Yeah. It's a different
best team
generation.
allowed.
Exactly.
In Europe, sometimes.
It's a different generation. This is not that. And why I like Fernandes is he's having to drag them by the shirt sleeves into good performances.
Yeah.
That's what I like about him. There's going to be times where it's going to be difficult because people keep saying, oh, he should be doing more as captain. It's not about him. It's about the 11 others, the 10 others who aren't performing.
That's it.
And he can only do so much.
Ayew out to Mavididi, left corner of the penalty area. Leicester 3-0 down. Mavididi crosses to the far post, headed away by Casemiro. Here's Wout Faes' cross. Only half cleared, wing search to shoot, left foot shot does. And it's straight to the goalkeeper Onana, but at least a shot on target. And the Leicester fans, who are still in the ground, are cheering that as if it's a goal.
I think the problem you have is they could be here till tomorrow.
Yeah.
They just do not look like they've got a goal in them. They really don't. And this is not an accomplished Manchester United defence. But Leicester just do not look capable of scoring.
It's a mix of things, isn't it? It's a lack of confidence, it's a lack of quality, it's a lack of good coaching, I have to say, because we just haven't seen the patterns that you require to open a team up. Winks has just won a free kick, but we've said it a few times, and Leicester fans I know you won't thank us for repeating it, but it's not obvious in any way, shape or form how this team is trying to play.
I've got no clue. Are they passing it? Are they knocking it long? Do they switch? But I don't know. It's every single time they get it is different.
It's going to be a free kick rather, just in field from the left touch line. We've had 6 of the additional 8 minutes so far, and it'll be Luke Thomas to send it in. And he's got plenty of players on that far post to aim for. Thomas's delivery went near post, of course it did, and easily cleared. Winks now gets through a couple of challenges. Vardy saved by Onana. There was the big chance for Jamie Vardy, and the big chance for Leicester to finally score, but it was saved by Onana. In towards Ayew, up towards Connor Cody, who stayed up from the original set piece. Amas trying to bring it away, but Ndidi stops him doing that, but Casemiro's broken out. It's a nice turn by Obi, and he feeds it now to Bruno Fernandes, and the break is on. Suddenly it's 4-on-3. Played through towards Xerxes, he's not going to get there ahead of Faes. And Leicester able to clear it. But their best chance of the game probably has just arrived, and Jamie Vardy denied by the goalkeeper. I'd say Ayew's made a difference. It's coming on. He's had some nice
He's a good
runs,
player.
nice touches.
He's a very good player, very underrated.
His brother Andre, exceptional when he was at the top of his game.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
Here is Ayew. His dad was pretty good as well.
He wasn't bad.
What's a player?
Yeah, it's from my generation, yeah. What a footballer.
Played in by Mavididi, headed behind by Amas, and that's going to be a corner. And finally, the Sleepy Foxes wake up.
Well, they're giving it a go. I mean, it's the 97th minute. It's far too late.
3-0 down, but
I thought Vardy normally he'd hit the far post, but he's just gone straight for power, hasn't he? And Onana does well. Make himself big.
Here comes the corner towards the far post. Goalkeeper started to come, changed his mind, headed behind by Lindelof. And it'll be one final corner for Leicester City here. United nearly there in terms of their clean sheet. They are there in terms of their win. They move into the top 13 for what that's worth. Jeremiah comes across to take. Can Leicester have one final gesture of defiance to end this long, long goal drought? Ayew towards the far post, headed back across by Fast, away by Collier. Dallow's clearance will be on the 98 minutes now, brought down by Fast, kept alive by McAteer. Now it's with Winks, he crosses into the penalty area. Casemiro and Xerxes got in each other's way, and the ball goes behind for another corner.
Well, at least they're winning it and keeping it around the area, but like I said, it's too little too late, isn't it, really? Fans will be saying, why haven't we done this?
Yes, where was this all game?
Exactly right.
Corner kick from the near side, the left. Onana comes for it, gets it, and then goes to ground, and that is the full-time whistle, and the boos ring out around the King Power. Leicester have now lost 6 Premier League games in a row without scoring. They haven't scored at home since December the 8th. It's a feeble run. They are spinning towards relegation. But for Manchester United, it is a win that takes them up to 13th in the Premier League. There are signs of life with the Red Devils. Goals from Rasmus Højlund, Alejandro Garnacho and the captain Bruno Fernandes have given us a final score of Leicester 0, Manchester United 3. Here's how you heard it. And here's Højlund for Manchester United into the area. Right foot shot, brilliant finish. Rasmus Højlund finally ends his goal drought. His first strike of 2025. It was a simple run down the inside right channel. At no stage was he challenged. And so he pulled the trigger and he found the bottom corner. And it's Leicester 0, Manchester United 1. Fernandes on the edge of the area. And the shot from Garnacho. He's squeezed in at the near post. And now he does have his goal. His first of the calendar year. Hermansen caught by surprise, got a hand to it, couldn't keep it out. Garnacho just inside the penalty area, and his snapshot means that it's Leicester 0, Manchester United 2. Here's Dallow, skipped away from Mavididi. Plays it low to the edge of the area and swept in by you-know-who. Bruno Fernandes strikes again. It's a golden night for Manchester United. It's another grim evening for Leicester City. It is 3-0. So it was a resounding victory in the end for Manchester United. Their players moving towards the corner where the travelling fans are. It's 4 unbeaten in the Premier League now. They got that big win on Thursday against Real Sociedad, and Paul Mortimer alongside me. Small green sheets, very small, but young players playing, a pattern of play, another goal from Bruno Fernandes, clean sheet. Yes, it's against abysmal opposition, but it is a step forward.
It is. It's the Chicago White Sox on XM 183 Internet 867. 4:10 p.m., Colorado Rockies take on the Kansas City Royals on Internet 849. 4:10 p.m., San Diego Padres face the Arizona Diamondbacks. Padres on Internet 862, Diamondbacks on Internet 840.
Get the latest news, opinion, and analysis from MMA to boxing and the professional wrestling world 24/7. SiriusXM Fight Nation, SiriusXM 156, and the SXM app.
Injuries devastate the careers of pro athletes, but for some, they get to play the game they love for many years. But for one former major leaguer, not even a work stoppage that resulted in the longest ever in baseball history could stop this man. Could you imagine someone playing 162 games a year? What about for 16 straight seasons? Well, for an individual named the Iron Man, it was no problem. 8 Silver Slugger Awards, American League Rookie of the Year, 2 Gold Glove Awards, a 19-time All-Star, 2-time League MVP, and most importantly, World Series champion 83. But what set Cal Ripken Jr. apart from other major leaguers was his attitude, perseverance, and durability. Lou Gehrig's record of 2,130 games played in a row was supposed to stand for decades, but Ripken defied the odds and did something unthinkable. 2,632 straight games for him over 16-plus seasons. Illness, fatigue, and the traveling schedule of a pro athlete didn't matter for Cal Ripken Jr. He could do it all, and he was part of baseball history every time he took the field. His teammates, coaches, friends, family, they all knew he was determined to play every day until he was satisfied with his performance. Baseball is a game of frustration and failure in many ways. As a hitter, you fail 7 out of 10 times, so you have to deal with failure quite a bit, and that's one of the keys to having long-term success, he said. For SiriusXM Sports, I'm Ryan Payton.
Mad Dog Sports Radio has the best sports talk in the business, covering sports with a passion and knowledge you need. Mad Dog Sports Radio, SiriusXM 86, and the SXM app.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM sports schedule for Sunday, March the 16th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the EPL, 3 p.m., Leicester takes on Manchester United with the Leicester feed on Internet 1950, Manchester United on Internet 1965, national feed on SiriusXM and Internet channels 157. In Major League Baseball spring training action, 4:05 p.m., Cincinnati Reds taking the Seattle Mariners, Reds on XM 182 Internet 847, Mariners on Internet 864. 4:05 p.m., Atlanta Braves take on the Detroit Tigers on Internet 842. 4:05 p.m., San Francisco Giants take on the A's on Internet 863. 4:05 p.m., Texas Rangers face the Chicago White Sox on XM 183 Internet 867. 4:10 p.m., Colorado Rockies take on the Kansas City Royals on Internet 849. 4:10 p.m., San Diego Padres face the Arizona Diamondbacks, Padres on Internet 862, Diamondbacks on Internet 840. 4:10 p.m., LA Angels face the San Diego Padres on Internet 853. In MLS, 4:55 p.m., Portland Timbers face the LA Galaxy on SiriusXM and Internet channels 157. 7 p.m., Atlanta United FC face Inter Miami on SiriusXM and Internet channels 157, Spanish feed on Internet 1999. In the NBA, 3:30 p.m., LA Lakers face the Phoenix Suns. Lakers on SiriusXM channels 86 Internet 893, Suns on Internet 903. 6 p.m., Portland Trail Blazers take on the Toronto Raptors. Blazers on SiriusXM channels 86 Internet 904, Raptors on SiriusXM channels 167 Internet 907. 6 p.m., Brooklyn Nets face the Atlanta Hawks. Nets on Sirius 160 XM 212 and Internet 882, Hawks on Internet 880. 7 p.m., LA Clippers face the Charlotte Hornets. Clippers on Sirius 162 XM 214 and Internet 892, Hornets on Internet 893. 7 p.m., Minnesota Timberwolves host the Utah Jazz. Timberwolves on Sirius 161 XM 213 and Internet 897, Jazz on Internet 908. 9 p.m., Milwaukee Bucks face the Oklahoma City Thunder. Bucks on Sirius XM channels 86 Internet 896, Thunder on Internet 900. In the NHL, 3:30 p.m., Colorado Avalanche face the Dallas Stars. Avs on Sirius XM channels 91 Internet 926, Stars on Internet 928. 6 p.m., St. Louis Blues face the Anaheim Ducks. Blues on Sirius XM channels 91 Internet 944, Ducks on Internet 920. 7 p.m., New York Rangers face the Edmonton Oilers. Rangers on Sirius 208 XM 219 and Internet 938, Oilers on Internet 930. 7:30 p.m., New York Islanders face the Florida Panthers. Islanders on Sirius 209 XM 220 and Internet 937, Panthers on Internet 931. 8 p.m., Vancouver Canucks host the Utah Hockey Club. Canucks on Sirius 210 XM 221 and Internet 948, Utah on Internet 947. 9 p.m., Seattle Kraken face the Winnipeg Jets. Kraken on Sirius XM channels 91 Internet 943, Jets on Internet 951. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM sports schedule for Sunday, March the 16th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the EPL, 3 p.m., Leicester takes on Manchester United with the Leicester feed on Internet 1950, Manchester United on Internet 1965, national feed on SiriusXM and Internet channels 157. In Major League Baseball spring training action, 4:05 p.m., Cincinnati Reds taking the Seattle Mariners, Reds on XM 182 Internet 847, Mariners on Internet 864. 4:05 p.m., Atlanta Braves take on the Detroit Tigers on Internet 842. 4:05 p.m., San Francisco Giants take on the A's on Internet 863. 4:05 p.m., Texas Rangers face the Chicago White Sox on XM 183 Internet 867. 4:10 p.m., Colorado Rockies take on the Kansas City Royals on Internet 849. 4:10 p.m., San Diego Padres face the Arizona Diamondbacks, Padres on Internet 862, Diamondbacks on Internet 840.
MLB Network Radio is your home for 24/7 baseball talk, featuring on-site coverage of every major event from spring training through the World Series and expert analysis from former general managers and players. SiriusXM, Channel 89.
I'm Mick Kern with It happened in baseball. May 27th, 1973. The National League East Division Montreal Expos found themselves at Candlestick Park on this Sunday, taking on the host San Francisco Giants. The box score shows the home nine taking it 6-3 on the strength of a complete game by lefty Ron Bryant, who would go on to finish third in Cy Young voting that season thanks to 24 wins. The box score also reveals that Expos left fielder Curtis Brown went 0 for 4 at the plate, along with 2 putouts. Not exactly a day to remember for the 27-year-old native of Sacramento. He'd get him the next day, right? The trouble is there would be no next day, at least not in the majors. That game against the Giants would be the only time Curtis Brown would ever play in the big leagues. The former Mets farmhand was eventually sent back down to the minors, where he excelled with the AAA Peninsula Whips, a team that also featured a young Gary Carter for a handful of games. Brown isn't the only player to get one solitary crack at the show. Almost 8,000 players over the years have had the proverbial cup of coffee in the majors, names such as Gary Hill with the 1969 Braves, Gary Lance with the 1977 Royals, and Jeff Bannister with the 1991 Pittsburgh Pirates. Pinch hitting for Doug Drabeck, Bannister picked up a base hit against Atlanta on July 23rd, 1991, his only at-bat in the major leagues. Bannister did all right for himself, however. He became the 18th manager of the Texas Rangers on October 16th, 2014. For It Happened in Baseball, I'm Mick Kern.
On the court and off, your home for the NBA is SiriusXM. Follow all the drama as your favorite team vies for it all. SiriusXM NBA Radio, SiriusXM 86.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM sports schedule for Sunday, March the 16th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the EPL, 3 p.m., Leicester takes on Manchester United with the Leicester feed on Internet 1950, Manchester United on Internet 1965, national feed on SiriusXM and Internet channels 157. In Major League Baseball spring training action, 4:05 p.m., Cincinnati Reds take on the Seattle Mariners, Reds on XM 182 Internet 847, Mariners on Internet 864. 4:05 p.m., Atlanta Braves take on the Detroit Tigers on Internet 842. 4:05 p.m., San Francisco Giants take on the A's on Internet 863. 4:05 p.m., Texas Rangers face the Chicago White Sox on XM 183 Internet 867. 4:10 p.m., Colorado Rockies take on the Kansas City Royals on Internet 849. 4:10 p.m., San Diego Padres face the Arizona Diamondbacks, Padres on Internet 862, Diamondbacks on Internet 840. 4:10 p.m., LA Angels face the San Diego Padres on Internet 853. In MLS, 4:55 p.m., Portland Timbers face the LA Galaxy on SiriusXM and Internet channels 157. 7 p.m., Atlanta United FC face Inter Miami on SiriusXM and Internet channels 157, Spanish feed on Internet 1999. In the NBA, 3:30 p.m., LA Lakers face the Phoenix Suns. Lakers on SiriusXM channels 86 Internet 893, Suns on Internet 903. 6 p.m., Portland Trail Blazers take on the Toronto Raptors. Blazers on SiriusXM channels 86 Internet 904, Raptors on SiriusXM channels 167 Internet 907. 6 p.m., Brooklyn Nets face the Atlanta Hawks. Nets on Sirius 160 XM 212 and Internet 882, Hawks on Internet 880. 7 p.m., LA Clippers face the Charlotte Hornets. Clippers on Sirius 162 XM 214 and Internet 892, Hornets on Internet 893. 7 p.m., Minnesota Timberwolves host the Utah Jazz. Timberwolves on Sirius 161 XM 213 and Internet 897, Jazz on Internet 908. 9 p.m., Milwaukee Bucks face the Oklahoma City Thunder. Bucks on Sirius XM channels 86 Internet 896, Thunder on Internet 900. In the NHL, 3:30 p.m., Colorado Avalanche face the Dallas Stars. Avs on Sirius XM channels 91 Internet 926, Stars on Internet 928. 6 p.m., St. Louis Blues face the Anaheim Ducks. Blues on Sirius XM channels 91 Internet 944, Ducks on Internet 920. 7 p.m., New York Rangers face the Edmonton Oilers. Rangers on Sirius 208 XM 219 and Internet 938, Oilers on Internet 930. 7:30 p.m., New York Islanders face the Florida Panthers. Islanders on Sirius 209 XM 220 and Internet 937, Panthers on Internet 931. 8 p.m., Vancouver Canucks host the Utah Hockey Club. Canucks on Sirius 210 XM 221 and Internet 948, Utah on Internet 947. 9 p.m., Seattle Kraken face the Winnipeg Jets. Kraken on Sirius XM channels 91 Internet 943, Jets on Internet 951. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM sports schedule for Sunday, March the 16th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the EPL, 3 p.m., Leicester takes on Manchester United with the Leicester feed on Internet 1950, Manchester United on Internet 1965, national feed on Sirius XM and Internet channels 157. In Major League Baseball spring training action, 4:05 p.m., Cincinnati Reds take on the Seattle Mariners, Reds on XM 182 Internet 847, Mariners on Internet 864. 4:05 p.m., Atlanta Braves take on the Detroit Tigers on Internet 842. 4:05 p.m., San Francisco Giants take on the A's on Internet 863. 4:05 p.m., Texas Rangers face the Chicago White Sox on XM 183 Internet 867. 4:10 p.m., Colorado Rockies take on the Kansas City Royals on Internet 849. 4:10 p.m., San Diego Padres face the Arizona Diamondbacks, Padres on Internet 862, Diamondbacks on Internet 840.
SiriusXM NFL Radio Channel 88 brings you expert analysis from former players, coaches, and executives, plus reaction to all the latest news on the only 24/7 station dedicated to the National Football League.
For SiriusXM Sports, I'm Ryan Payton. You know, Novak Djokovic has become only the third person to hold all 4 Grand Slam tennis titles at one time. 2 players have completed that feat in a calendar year. Only one has done it twice. His name, Rod Laver. In 1962, he competed as an amateur and became the first player since Don Budge in 1938 to complete the calendar slam. His hardest test came on clay, winning 3 straight 5-setters en route to the French Open title. In all, there were 22 wins for Laver in 1962. Now, until 1968, pros were not allowed to play in Grand Slam tournaments. When that rule was changed, the Open era began. This, of course, meant Laver was banned from the majors for 5 years of his career. But once the doors opened for professionals, he burst onto the Grand Slam scene. He won the first Wimbledon of the Open era in 1968, defeating top-ranked amateur Arthur Ashe in the semifinal in straight sets, then went on to win the final. Laver would win a total of 11 Grand Slams as both a pro and an amateur at this time, despite being banned from Grand Slam play for 5 of his best years. He won 6 doubles Grand Slams, 3 mixed doubles titles, and he also led his Australian team to 5 Davis Cup victories. One of the best, an icon in Rod Laver. For SiriusXM Sports, I'm Ryan Payton.
Follow every second of the action on NHL Network Radio. From behind the bench to every play on the ice. If it's hockey, it's on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio. SiriusXM 91.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM sports schedule for Sunday, March the 16th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the EPL, 3 p.m., Leicester takes on Manchester United with the Leicester feed on Internet 1950, Manchester United on Internet 1965, national feed on SiriusXM and Internet channels 157. In Major League Baseball spring training action, 4:05 p.m., Cincinnati Reds take on the Seattle Mariners, Reds on XM 182 Internet 847, Mariners on Internet 864. 4:05 p.m., Atlanta Braves take on the Detroit Tigers on Internet 842. 4:05 p.m., San Francisco Giants take on the A's on Internet 863. 4:05 p.m., Texas Rangers face the Chicago White Sox on XM 183 Internet 867. 4:10 p.m., Colorado Rockies take on the Kansas City Royals on Internet 849. 4:10 p.m., San Diego Padres face the Arizona Diamondbacks, Padres on Internet 862, Diamondbacks on Internet 840. 4:10 p.m., LA Angels face the San Diego Padres on Internet 853. In MLS, 4:55 p.m., Portland Timbers face the LA Galaxy on SiriusXM and Internet channels 157. 7 p.m., Atlanta United FC face Inter Miami on SiriusXM and Internet channels 157, Spanish feed on Internet 1999. In the NBA, 3:30 p.m., LA Lakers face the Phoenix Suns. Lakers on Sirius XM channels 86 Internet 893, Suns on Internet 903. 6 p.m., Portland Trail Blazers take on the Toronto Raptors. Blazers on Sirius XM channels 86 Internet 904, Raptors on Sirius XM channels 167 Internet 907. 6 p.m., Brooklyn Nets face the Atlanta Hawks. Nets on Sirius 160 XM 212 and Internet 882, Hawks on Internet 880. 7 p.m., LA Clippers face the Charlotte Hornets. Clippers on Sirius 162 XM 214 and Internet 892, Hornets on Internet 893. 7 p.m., Minnesota Timberwolves host the Utah Jazz. Timberwolves on Sirius 161 XM 213 and Internet 897, Jazz on Internet 908. 9 p.m., Milwaukee Bucks face the Oklahoma City Thunder. Bucks on Sirius XM channels 86 Internet 896, Thunder on Internet 900. In the NHL, 3:30 p.m., Colorado Avalanche face the Dallas Stars. Avs on Sirius XM channels 91, Internet 926. Stars on Internet 928. 6 p.m., St. Louis Blues face the Anaheim Ducks. Blues on Sirius XM channels 91, Internet 944. Ducks on Internet 920. 7 p.m., New York Rangers face the Edmonton Oilers. Rangers on Sirius 208, XM 219, and Internet 938. Oilers on Internet 930. 7:30 p.m., New York Islanders face the Florida Panthers. Islanders on Sirius 209, XM 220, and Internet 937. Panthers on Internet 931. 8 p.m., Vancouver Canucks host the Utah Hockey Club. Canucks on Sirius 210, XM 221, and Internet 948. Utah on Internet 947. 9 p.m., Seattle Kraken face the Winnipeg Jets. Kraken on Sirius XM channels 91, Internet 943. Jets on Internet 951. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM sports schedule for Sunday, March the 16th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the EPL, 3 p.m., Leicester takes on Manchester United with the Leicester feed on Internet 1950, Manchester United on Internet 1965, national feed on SiriusXM and Internet channels 157. In Major League Baseball spring training action, 4:05 p.m., Cincinnati Reds take on the Seattle Mariners. Reds on XM 182, Internet 847, Mariners on Internet 864. 4:05 p.m., Atlanta Braves take on the Detroit Tigers on Internet 842. 4:05 p.m., San Francisco Giants take on the A's on Internet 863. 4:05 p.m., Texas Rangers face the Chicago White Sox on XM 183, Internet 867. 4:10 p.m., Colorado Rockies take on the Kansas City Royals on Internet 849. 4:10 p.m., San Diego Padres face the Arizona Diamondbacks. Padres on Internet 862, Diamondbacks on Internet 840.
Hear it all on demand. Your favorite shows, your favorite games. Don't miss a second of your favorite SiriusXM programming on demand with the SiriusXM app. Download it now for free.
I'm Mick Kern with It Happened in Baseball. Most ball players are just happy that a major league team called out their name at the yearly June amateur draft. To go first overall in the annual exercise is not only an honor, but it also comes with heavy expectations. Recent top picks such as Bryce Harper, Steven Strasburg, and David Price have all become household names. But which former number one choices have met with the most success? As of the 2015 season, former Chicago White Sox slugger Harold Baines tops the list of most major league games played by a former first overall pick.